Nationwide Arena, and emotions obviously running rampant throughout the building, but especially in the Columbus Blue Jackets locker room. Steve, how are they feeling?
Well, I can tell you what, Dan, all those guys in the dressing room have butterflies the size of 747s. A lot of nervous energy. If they can harness that, they can use it to their advantage. Get out there, get a good jump on the Chicago Blackhawks, possibly win their first ever game.
First ever game. This is just the first of 82 regular season games for the Columbus Blue Jackets. How important is it to get that first win tonight?
Well, I think it's real important, obviously, for their confidence. I think, too, they're playing a team, the Chicago Blackhawks, the Columbus Blue Jackets really feel they can beat, they can compete with. They want to get up on them early, make sure they don't take any bad penalties, and then maybe that can give them some confidence going into the rest of the season.
Now, those are just the first two of our Toyota keys of the game. And we take a look back at the preseason action for the Blue Jackets throughout the NHL, really. Special teams were very important. I would imagine that would extend right here into the regular season.
Well, you're right. We saw it in the preseason. We saw it early in the regular season, too. Special teams can win you an awful lot of games, and they play pretty important part in the preseason for the Columbus Blue Jackets, and we'll see some tape here. Great puck movement by those 5 men on the power play around the perimeter, waiting for that shot from the point. You see Steve Malte parked in front of the net, putting a loose puck over to Jeff Sanderson, and he scores the goal. And again, it's Steve Malte. You'll see him an awful lot on the power play, setting up Robert Cron in front of the net. As I mentioned, if you can do very well on your special teams, you'll probably win 80% of your games.
A beautiful time of the year. The National Hockey League is right here in the capital city. A face-off just a few minutes away between the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Chicago Blackhawks, a team who has been around for 75 years. They are displaying the rich tradition and history throughout the National Hockey League. We now move downstairs to Jeff Hogan, who is waiting by. Jeff Hogan's not ready. Steve, you're familiar with the tradition of this Blackhawks organization, but they have not seen their better years recently.
You know, they've missed the playoffs, the Stanley Cup playoffs, the last 3 years, and prior to that, they hadn't missed it in 28. So yeah, they're steep in tradition. They're trying to get back on the winning track. The last 3 years, they haven't made the playoffs. They played terribly in the first 20 games. They want to get out to a good start. We mentioned the loss in Buffalo. They want to avenge that, get back on the winning track.
Also for the Blackhawks, a new coach behind the bench.
Yeah, Alpo Suominen, and he wants to get them back to their winning ways.
Well, we'll now move downstairs to Jeff Hogan, who is waiting for our player introductions.
Hey guys, this is the NHL and it's in Columbus. Can you believe it here? We wrapped up Blue Jacket Icebreaker, and finally I got a chance to turn around and see exactly what the excitement is all about. 18,500 plus fans enjoying a pregame show that has been produced by Nationwide Arena and the Columbus Blue Jackets, and they are getting set in just a few minutes as they announce Rastislav Klesla on the big board there to announce some of the players. Our starting lineups are going to be brought to you by Lexus, the relentless pursuit of perfection. But folks, we're not going to sell you short here. We're not just going to give you the first shift or the second shift. We are going to give you the entire slate of players, and we're going to get some help from inside this arena from the voice of Mike Emmerich, who is going to take us all the way through. And we're going to go right to Mike Emmerich right now with our introducing of the starting lineups.
Connected team. Please join us in saluting and welcoming the championship partners of your Columbus Blue Jackets. Ohio Health, Pepsi. Proud to be championship partners of your Columbus Blue Jackets. Please welcome your 2000-2001 Columbus Blue Jackets.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from Fox Sports Net and Emmy award-winning play-by-play announcer, Mike Emmerich.
Good evening, everyone. It is a tremendous honor for me to be here to introduce to you your Columbus Blue Jackets. Beginning with number 3, Frantisek Kuchera. Number 5, Jamie Pusher. Number 9, David Viborny. Number 10, Serge Aubin. Number 11, Kevin Deneen. Number 17, Steve Malte. Number 25, Bruce Gardner. Number 28, Tyler Wright. Number 29, Christoph Oliva. Number 30, Mark Denis. Number 33, Petteri Numeland. Number 42, Kevin Adams. Number 43, Jan Shaboon. Number 44, Rostislav Klesla. Ladies and gentlemen, the starting lineup for your Columbus Blue Jackets. Number 57 at right wing, Steve Hines. Number 8 at left wing, Jeff Sanderson. Number 18 at center, Robert Braun. On defense, number 37, Matthias Thunder. At defense, the captain, number 4, Lyle Odeline. And in goal, number 31, Ron Tugnutt. The assistant coach for your Blue Jackets, Gerard Gallant. Associate coach, Newell Brown. Head coach for your Blue Jackets, Dave King. Head athletic trainer, Chris Meiser. And equipment manager, Tim Leroy. This inaugural season begins with these guys, your 2000-2001 Columbus Blue Jackets.
Well, a great scene, Steve Conroy. The Blue Jackets get introduced to the home crowd, and this crowd
Ladies
is
and
definitely a
gentlemen,
buzz.
please join members.
Well, there's a lot of electricity and excitement in here. And right now, it's really important for the players to keep their focus. Awfully easy to get distracted.
With national recording artists and Columbus's own Rascal Flatts is the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad strides and bright stars through the perilous fight? Oh, the ramparts we were, we're so gallantly streaming, and the rockets reclaim those were sealed, gave proof in the home of the brave.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rascal Flatts. And ladies and gentlemen, the band, please direct your attention to the center hung video board, please. Ladies and gentlemen, we are all here this evening in extreme part to one man arriving in Columbus in 1954. He had a dream to build his own business. He did that and so much more. Worthington Industries is an American business success story and its founder a legend. While effectively building his business to expand 3 continents and 8,000 employees, he has also touched his community, bringing the Blue Jackets and its first major league sports team to Columbus, a city he feels has given him so much as a fulfillment of a dream. His legacy will not only be his business, but also his vision and dream shared with the people of Columbus, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Ladies and gentlemen, joining Blue Jackets captain Lyle Ludeline and captain for the Blackhawks Tony Amonte, along with NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman, in dropping tonight's ceremonial puck. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome and join us in saluting Mr. John H. McConnell. And joining Mr. McConnell at center ice will be Tony Amonte, the captain of the Blackhawks, along with the captain of the Blue Jackets, Lyle Ludeline.
Tony, how are you? Good to see you, brother.
Blackhawks. Welcome back. We are inside Nationwide Arena as the hush before the excitement begins here.
Well, you see Dave King eagerly anticipating this. A lot of work for him through the preseason, an exhibition schedule. There you see the starter in goal for the Columbus Blue Jackets, Ron Tugnutt.
Opening face-off, Kron opposite Jamnoff. 7:56 p.m. October 7th, 2000, and the Blue Jackets are born as we are underway inside Nationwide Arena. Here's Tony Amonte. He can fly. Carries it in across the line. Jeff Sanderson halting his forward progression, and he stabs it out to neutral territory. Jamnoff and the Blackhawks wearing their road red sweaters here in their 75th year in the National Hockey League. They come through center. Amonte gets across that red line before he dumps the puck in, so no icing. To Mander. On to Sanderson. Cross ice to Hines. Here he comes. 1-on-2, trying to dipsy-doodle around the Hawks defense. Not happening as the veteran Kevin Dineen slides it to center.
Oh, Dan, and a pretty move, too, by Steve Hines. He had Kevin Dean there. Dean just got his foot out at the last second and stopped it. He would have been beat cleanly.
Behind the play, Gardner sends Marhoff flying. Here's a big bad customer, Bob Probert, lumbering in on Kuchera. Kuchera whips it up the near wing as Petteri Numelin. Another fleet-footed defenseman. He gets crunched into the glass by Probert. Kuchera breakout pass to Adams. The Blue Jackets in their home white uniforms. Shooting it in quickly, shot out by Mironov. Still in the first 2 minutes of this first period. Here's Jamie Pusher. Touch pass for Shalhoub, just out of his reach. Shalhoub, some good forechecking. Centers in front. Quick shot by Klesla. Just wide. Hawks can't clear. Klesla shooting. Thibault save. Rebound loose at the side of the goal. Shalhoub along the far wall. Shalhoub letting the puck go.
And some great reads from the rookie Klesla, jumping in from the point, all open in the slot. Unfortunately, that pass on his backhand didn't get a lot on it.
Look out, here come the Hawks. Sullivan, long-range shot, harmlessly off a stick and wide of Tugnut's goal, but he decides to cover up for a face-off.
Well, great action here early. We mentioned Klesla. Remember, people, this guy's just 18 years old, and look at the great anticipation there, jumping into the slot. You see, get it on the backhand. Didn't really get a good shot on net, but then keeps in the clearing attempt, gets it down low. That was almost tipped in front of Thibault. And Klesla, as we mentioned, just 18 years old, but he's got great size, 6'2", 200 pounds. And he's also pretty good in his own end of the rink, Dan, a guy who'll give up his body to block shots.
Should be stressed, as Steve mentioned, only 18 years old. Face-off to the right of Tugnut as Nylander winning the face-off back for the Hawks, but they can't keep the puck in as Steve McCarthy. He's the rookie, also back on the blue line, but for the Blackhawks as he shoots it in. Tugnut vacates the goal crease, leaving for Odeline. Up the near wall to Vaborny. David Vaborny, number 9 now, trying to clear, gives to Serge Aubin, and here come the Blue Jackets. Tyler Wright over skating at center. Jean-Yves Leroux in neutral territory, knocked down by Aubin, but quickly reciprocated by a new Blackhawk, Stefan Quintal. But it's Steve McCarthy, the rookie, trying to slow the play down. Ahead for Leroux, whacked off his stick by Vaborny as some sloppy play in neutral ice. As this first period almost 3 minutes old, still no score. Here come the Blackhawks. From the point, Leroux can't take the shot as Vaborny interfered with him, as Vaborny can't clear. Nylander in the corner, now behind the goal side of the net. The crafty little forward Sullivan pitches it back to the point to Karpatsev. Karpatsev shot through traffic off a skate, just wide.
Kind of a dangerous play too for Ron Tugnut, deflected just in front of his net.
Sullivan in front, Nylander shoveling wide. Still the pressure continues by the Blackhawks, but finally Columbus a huge clear.
Well, you've got to watch out for that line. Michael Nylander, as you mentioned, very crafty, not overly big, but really strong on his skates. And Steve Sullivan, not a big guy at 5 feet 7 inches tall, but he's got plenty of speed, and they had Columbus wrapped up in their own end.
Jansen's long shot several feet wide. Eriksson from the point, high slot to Jansen's, puck bouncing around. Dineen picks it up on to Kevin Adams, dumping it in. Dineen in on the forecheck, held off on the play. Adams joining the scene, but he inadvertently swats the puck over the tall glass, and we'll have a stoppage in play.
And you see the starting netminder is Jocelyn Thibault for the Chicago Blackhawks. Last year, 25 wins, 26 losses, and a 90.6 save percentage. Not bad numbers. Had a terrible start to the season. And in the other end, it's Ron Tugnut for the Columbus Blue Jackets. He split the season between Ottawa and Pittsburgh last year. Career high in the win column, 22. He tied a career high for that man.
Jocelyn Thibault in his 8th season. Only 25 years old, so he does have more experience than his age shows.
You see Alpo Suhonen, one of 2 European coaches in the NHL this year. The first time people born and raised in Europe have been head coaches.
The other head coach from Europe, Ivan Halinka, behind the Penguins bench. Here's Mark Janssens for the Blackhawks, dumping it in. Jean-Yves Leroux tears in on the forecheck, but Mr. Klesla gets in his way. Jars it loose for Pusher in behind the Blue Jackets goal, and here they come. Bruce Gardner to Malte over the line. Malte shoots. Thibault save. Gardner just puts it wide, and the net is knocked off its moorings. They're going to say a Blue Jacket player knocked it loose, so the face-off should come out to center.
Well, I believe we might be getting a penalty to Vandenbush, and a great call by the referee. He spotted that Vandenbush, realizing his goaltender was in a little bit of trouble, helped knock the net off its moorings, so he'll end up getting a penalty on the play. There's Ryan Vandenbush, a tough customer for the Chicago Blackhawks. He thought he was going to get away with one there, but unfortunately for him, a referee standing off about 15 feet to his left caught it, And the first power play of the evening will go to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Good pressure here. Steve Malte with a great decision. Sees the defense backing in, uncorks one, and it's Bruce Gardner who almost puts one into the net. Vandenbush looks like he knocked one of the Blue Jacket players into the net, and that's how it got dislodged right there. Vandenbush clearing his check, knocking the net off its moorings, and he'll sit 2 minutes for a delay of game penalty.
A lot of offensive firepower up front for the Blue Jackets. Aubin, Hines, Shalhoub, the forward three, Sanderson and Petteri Numelin lurking on the points. Right from the draw, Karpatsev drives it out for the Hawks.
And Dave King electing to go with 4 forwards out there. A lot of times in the power play, you'll see 3 forwards and 2 defensemen. In this instance, we've got 4 forwards out there. Jeff Sanderson, although a forward, will be playing that right point.
Columbus shoots it in. Thibault trying to clear it, hits off the top of the glass, so he should not be assessed a delay of game penalty there.
No, and I believe it was deflected also. Dave King talking about the power play. Really wants to simplify things early for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Move the puck up as efficiently as possible. Get shots on that man, Jocelyn Thibault. You see them advancing the puck. They're getting it in deep. Unfortunately for them, Thibault comes out, goes to play it, and as you mentioned, off the top of the glass, although that will not be a delay of game penalty.
Jamnov against Aubin on this draw. Jamnov wins it back, and Karpatsev clears it down the ice. Sanderson, trouble clearing. Amonte, he scored over 40 goals last year. He's one to watch, but Sanderson starting from anew. A little more time this time.
Well, that's one thing you've got to watch out about the Chicago Blackhawks, especially their penalty killers. Lots of speed up front. You cannot make any mistakes in your own end of the rink.
In on the forecheck. Still 1:10 left on this power play. So far, not much offense generated. Here comes Chicago's Amonte. In across the line, high slot, wrist shot sailing harmlessly wide.
And that's another thing penalty killers will do, too. They'll notice that there's a forward out there playing defense. They'll try and take advantage of that. In that instance, Amonte skated all the way to the right side, noting that Jeff Sanderson was back there, trying to get him to back in and get a shot on net.
So far, that Blackhawk blue line has an invisible wall there that the Blue Jackets have been unable to penetrate. 40 seconds left in the power play. Tyler Wright, the former Penguin, redirects it in. Mironov trying to drive it out, and he does as Klesla can't hold the fort on the left point. Tugnutt wandering out, shoots it to center.
And a great read by Ron Tugnutt there. Would have been a 2-on-1 had he not come out to intercept that puck. He walked 60 feet from out of his net, played it calmly up the boards.
Mironov again, another clear as Klesla backpedaling. The Hawks are changing. Here comes Tyler Wright for the Blue Jackets. To Cron on the point, his errant pass intercepted by Leroux, and Jean-Yves Leroux shoots it down the ice.
Well, Dan, part of the problem with this power play, they have yet really to set up in the Chicago Blackhawks end of the rink. You touched on it. Chicago doing a great job standing 4 guys across the blue line, and they have successfully killed that penalty.
Vandenbush released from the box, as Steve mentioned. Here's Leroux in neutral territory to Jansen's over the line. Jansen's pass blocked in front by Pusher, and the Blue Jackets on the counterattack. Robert Cron from the red dumps it in and heads to the bench for a line change. Here's Steve McCarthy, the big rookie for the Hawks on defense. Pivots with Cantal. McCarthy gains the red line for Nylander, but Nylander was in ahead of the play on an offside, and we'll take a brief break here inside Nationwide Arena. 13:09 left in period number 1. So far, no score between the Blue Jackets and the Blackhawks. Face off just outside of the Blue Jackets blue line. Live action just underway. Columbus has the puck off the face-off, and they shoot it softly to the Hawk line. Here's Nylander in across the Columbus line. Hits the brakes along the far wall. Looking to center, but it's gobbled up in the neutral zone by Gardner as he slides it to center. Here come the Blue Jackets. Kevin Adams. Shot blocked there. Now in the far corner. Christophe Oliva. Big Christophe Oliva centers it right in front. It comes to the right point for Shalhoub. Hacks it down low to Kevin Adams, the Miami of Ohio product. Adams hovering on the right point. He's on his backhand, trying to pass it down low. Does. Gardner shoots. He scores! Lift off in Ohio. Bruce Gardner
Well, there's one for the record books, folks, and what a pretty goal, too, from this checking line, who put all sorts of pressure on the Chicago Blackhawks. A big assist to Chris Oliva here, throwing his weight around, getting that puck out and back in front of the net. And Bruce Gardner with the first goal in Columbus Blue Jackets franchise history. Johnny on the spot, pokes it in. You see the great work by Columbus, keeping the puck down low. The puck gets centered inadvertently. Bruce Gardner is right there. See Oliva really distracting Thibault out front. He gets his stick on it before Gardner does. Gardner chops it in. And that's the first one for the Columbus Blue Jackets. It gives them the 1-0 lead.
Such an innocent looking play, but it's the first tally ever for the Blue Jackets, and Bruce Gardner has it. Here's Chicago now trailing 1-0, shooting in. Klesla on the touch-up. That's an icing because Chicago dumped that puck in from their own side of center, and they ruled the Blue Jackets couldn't play it.
Well, Bruce Gardner, his fifth year in the NHL. Remember, he had 11 goals as a rookie. That's the most he's ever scored in one season. He has been bit by a lot of freak injuries, and he's hoping to really improve on those numbers, and he certainly started off this 2000-2001 season on the right foot.
And number 42, Kevin Adams, side of the goal, 7.
Ben Vaborny and Wright, the forward trio for Columbus. They have the puck off the draw, but Dean quickly intervenes, leaving for Mironov. Mironov has the puck, loses it in front. Wright shoots, rebound, Aubin. It's loose, another shot. They score! David Vaborny, and the celebration continues as the Blue Jackets lead swells to 2-0.
Well, the Blue Jackets now really feeding off the electricity and excitement in Nationwide Arena, and they're taking it to the Chicago Blackhawks. Great work by Tyler Wright, a one-man wrecking crew out there, and Vaborny, the talented European forward. Not great size, but he's got great heart. He'll stand his ground, and because he was in the right place at the right time, he stakes the Blue Jackets to the 2-0 lead. Look at the work by Aubin, then Wright. Aubin again from his knees, and Vaborny from almost an impossible angle somehow gets one through the legs of Jocelyn Thibault and gives the Blue Jackets the 2-0 lead.
Scored by number 9, David Vaborny. Assisted by number 10, Serjabi. And number 28, Tyler Wright, tied the goal, 8 minutes.
Here's Jamnoff for Chicago. As the team that has been in the NHL for 75 years finds themselves trailing 2-0 to a first-year club as it's picked up in neutral territory. Valerie Zelepukin dumps it in. Tamander on the pickup. Up the near wall to Vaborny. David Vaborny has scored the second goal for Columbus tonight. Ahead to right, and he redirects it in as Columbus is changing. Anders Eriksson to Karpatsev, ahead to Amonte. Meanders in across the Blue Jacket line, shot in deep. Eriksson waiting for it. Down low to Amonte. Lets it go for Jamnoff. Back to Amonte. These three are dangerous up front, but the savvy veteran Kachera intervenes, takes it away. Here comes Columbus once again. Odeline just missing. Kron with that pass. Sanderson catching up to it. Crunch to the end boards. Hines in there sniffing around. Has it. Hines waits, shoots. Thibault. Save. Rebound. They score. Stevie Hines. 3-0. Blue Jackets in this first period isn't even halfway over.
Well, Ohio hockey fans, the floodgates have officially opened here in Columbus. Great work again, really feeding off of the previous 2 goals. The Chicago Blackhawks on their heels, spending a lot of time in their own end of the rink. And the Columbus Blue Jackets make them pay. Steve Hines, his first goal, we mentioned him in the pregame show, a guy who is capable of scoring between 20 and 25 goals a year, gets his first of this season. And again, the traffic out front is key. Jeff Sanderson doing a great job, in front of the net. The Buffalo Wild Wings cam will see the look from in behind the net. That was that 3rd goal. Steve Hines, good job staying with the puck and putting it in the net.
Gintal, the new newcomer. His first game in a Blackhawks jersey, freshly acquired by the Rangers, as he battles at his own line. The rookie, 18-year-old Rusty Klesla, paired up with Jamie Pusher on defense. Here comes Columbus's Steve Malte. Led the Blue Jackets in preseason scoring. Puck along the near wing, picked up by McCarthy. Right up the middle to center to Vandenbush. Vandenbush, just over 8 minutes of ice time, but 15 penalty minutes Thursday night in the Blackhawks' debut against the Buffalo Sabres. Here's Kevin Dean ahead to Janssens, and he's content to backhand it into the Columbus zone. Both teams are changing.
Well, you couldn't have scripted a better start for these Columbus Blue Jackets. One thing they have to watch for, though, is the Chicago Blackhawks right now. Obviously, behind the 8 ball, they'll try and get involved physically, maybe try to draw somebody in the penalty. That's the last thing Columbus wants to get involved with right now.
Lyle Odeline back at his own line to Tamander, ahead for Tyler Wright. Dumps it in, but is quickly swatted to center by Dean Odeline. Now lofts it over everyone's head, but we have an offside. 9:22 to go in the first period. Can you believe it? Blue Jackets 3, Blackhawks nothing. Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down. Make it a Bud Light. Verizon, Verizon Wireless, join in. Lexus, Lexus, the relentless pursuit of perfection. Bank One, the preferred financial partner for the Columbus Blue Jackets, as we are back to live action. David Vaborny, he has scored the second of the Blue Jackets' 3 goals as he tips the puck into the Chicago zone. Dean thumped to the glass by Aubin on the aggressive forecheck. Kuchera from the point, but a whistle behind the play as it looked like the puck was hit with a hand pass maybe.
Well, that could be the call, though. I do see a referee heading over to the penalty box. It looks like a boarding call on Aubin, and it looked like a good hit from up here, finishing his check on Kevin Dean, but that's not the way the referee saw it. We'll see on the replay, Dean checking over his shoulder. There's the hit. That's something they're trying to crack down on, Dan, in the NHL, and they've been doing it over the last couple of years, is hitting from behind, especially when guys are in dangerous positions. And here Dean, you see about 2 feet off the boards, kind of in a vulnerable position. The referee helping to protect him gives Aubin the 2-minute boarding penalty.
It's one thing Dave King, the Blue Jackets head coach, emphasized this morning: we cannot get in a special teams competition with teams this year in the NHL. Especially when you look at the Blackhawks with the firepower they have up front with the likes of Shamnoff and Amonte. And Amonte has it off the draw, back to Eriksson. 5-on-4 power play for Chicago. See if they can get back the momentum as Shamnoff cruising across the red over the blue. Right side it goes for Amonte. Amonte, the captain, hovering on that right point to Eriksson, straight away to Karpatsev, inching in. His wrist shot blocked by Odeline. Sullivan behind the goal, in front, quick one-timer, that's also blocked. This time by Klesla. Karpatsev into Shamnoff. 1:20 left on the power play. Sullivan, hurried by Odeline, gives to Shamnoff. Karpatsev. Other point it goes, back to Karpatsev, one-timer. Just an inch wide. Sullivan was hunting for the deflection. Here's Eriksson to Shamnoff, right through the goal crease. Tamander had Amonte too well tied up. As a result, the Blue Jackets clear it.
And a nice job by Gardner, too. Those were 4 tired penalty killers out there. 3 of them got off for the change.
Tony Amonte dishing to Shamnoff. Tail end of the Chicago power play. McCarthy on the point. Other point to Mironov, back to McCarthy, over to Shamnoff. Wade shoots, hits the goal post. Kissed it right off the post, and it bounces out to center.
And the Blue Jackets have done a great job blocking shots. They got a little lucky there, off the iron, off the left post, in behind Ron Tugnutt.
Nylander in the high slot to Mironov. Wade shoots. Tugnutt save, and the rebound pushed wide. Is good coverage there by Pusher.
Oh, and a strong first save by Ron Tugnutt, and he got some help from his defenseman. And that was Jamie Pusher. Jamie Pusher stopped that rebound shot. A wide open net looking at the Blackhawk forward.
Here comes Chicago's Nylander, losing the puck, and it's quickly cleared to center. Listen to this crowd here inside Nationwide. Your Blue Jackets on top, 3-0 with under 7 minutes to play in the first period.
And that was a huge kill for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Although they're up by 3 goals, you don't want to give Chicago any kind of momentum.
Daze's shot off the stick, and it goes up and over the tall glass behind Ron Tugnutt.
Well, we mentioned the help Jamie Pusher provided Ron Tugnutt in front of the net. Watch the original stop by Tugnutt. You see him peering around some bodies. It just seems to hit him. And watch the rebound off the skate of Jamie Pusher. Jamie Pusher, great size, 6'4", 225 pounds. He covers a lot of area out there, and right there bailed out his goaltender with a block of that follow-up shot.
Face off in the middle of the Columbus zone. As we look at head coach Dave King, he almost felt guilty this morning for having such a good night rest last night, but he's been there and done it. Right from the face-off, a quick shot, a little premature as we have a penalty right off the whistle.
And it was right off the draw, and a lot of times when you see whistles coming off of draws, it's normally interference, and that's what the call is. It looks like it might be Ryan Vandenbush again. It is number 14, the big tough customer, the winger from the Chicago Blackhawks, guilty of tying somebody up on the draw. Watch him, he's on the left side. No, it's Jeff Sanderson. See, Sanderson does not have possession of the puck. Ryan Vandenbush impeding his progress out to the point. That's who Sanderson was trying to cover. You can't do that. As a result, Vandenbush will sit 2 minutes.
Steve, we are seeing the Columbus Blue Jackets power play here shortly. They have not been together long, with the camp opening up with over 70 players.
No, and I think what they're going to try and do here, they haven't been successful so far tonight. They want to simplify things, get the puck into the Chicago zone as quickly as possible, and then set up maybe a couple of passes between the defensemen and a shot on net.
This is one of the craftiest players on the Blue Jackets, Petteri Newman, ahead to Kron. Over the Hawk line, missing Hines with the pass as Marha had him tied up. Kron to the point to little Petteri Newman. Hurries to keep it in. Or Shalhoub to Hines behind the net, right in front, no one home, and Chicago shoots it away.
That's just one of those no-look plays, and it was a good attempt by Steve Hines. He didn't have a lot of time. He was hoping he had a teammate out front. No one was there, and an easy clear for Chicago.
Here's Kron, nifty move, entering the Hawk line. Leaves it in the near corner for Steve Hines. All 3 Blue Jackets down low. Shalhoub jarring it loose. As a good keep in by Newman on the point. Other point, Sanderson to Kron, shot, Thibault! Pad save, more importantly, no rebound.
And that's good puck movement on the power play. You mentioned Newman with a good keep in at the point. He fed it across to his other defense partner. And whenever you can pass the puck through the box, you know you're doing your job. You'll normally get a pretty good shot if you can pass it through that 4-player box. Watch the clearing attempt by Chicago. 33, the left shot, gloves it down, feeds it over to Sanderson, the man playing the other point. Sanderson passing it through the box, and that's where Kron gets a good scoring opportunity. Thibault will watch it from behind, squares up, makes the stop.
Right, Vaborny and Malte, the forward 3 for the Blue Jackets. The savvy veteran Lyle Odeline on the right point. On the other point, fresh face, 18-year-old defenseman Rusty Klesla. Odeline on this right point. Shot drifting wide through traffic. Under a minute left in the power play as Amonte has it, and he clears it all the way in behind Tugnutt's goal. 2 dangerous penalty killers up front for Chicago, and Jamnov and Amonte. They have blinding speed as Amonte stealing from Klesla. Back for Cantal. Poor clearing attempt, but it's kicked up by Amonte onto Jamnov. Jamnov over to Amonte. One timing flutters over the head of Tugnutt.
And that looked like a dangerous shot too, although it was over the net, kind of an end-over-ender. It was knuckling on Ron Tugnutt. He was happy it was over the crossbar.
Vaborny back to the point to Odeline. Puck bouncing. Klesla settles. Into Malte behind the net, now into the corner to David Vaborny. Vaborny sets up shop, top of the circle. Cross ice to Odeline. Down low to Klesla. Bad angle shot. Thibault has the post covered. Penalized Blackhawk player back on. Here they come, a 2-on-2 if they hurry. Vandenbush over the line with Zelapukin in front. Throws it there, but there to break it up is the Blue Jacket captain, Lyle Odeline. He clears it away. The penalty to Columbus had expired, so it's an icing as Mironov touches it. 3-0 Columbus, a little under 5 minutes remaining in the first period. League leaders brought to you by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't let you down, make it a Bud Light.
You see all the new head coaches in the league this year. Almost a quarter of the coaches replaced, with 7 new men standing behind new benches.
4:27 remaining in this first period. Surprisingly, the expansion Blue Jackets leading the Hawks 3-0. But Terry Newmelin, wearing number 33, bothered by Sullivan on the forecheck. Now digging it loose. Rico Van Arks for Sullivan. Back to the point, guarded by Oliva. He can't clear. Adams now trying to, but a slashing call behind the play.
It looks like it's going against Christoph Oliva. He got a stick across somebody's arm, and as we mentioned in the preseason and in this early regular season, NHL referees really cracking down on those slashing penalties, especially to the stick and arms of opponents. Christoph Oliva getting that 2-minute slashing penalty, and another chance here for the Chicago Blackhawks to get back on the board. Let's watch it. Well, there it is there it is right there. That looks like Mironov coming in from the point, trying to keep that puck in, and Oliva, although he hit him on the stick, still gets the penalty.
Blackhawks were 1 for 7 with the man advantage Thursday night in their loss against the Buffalo Sabres. Their lone power play goal scored by the man who has the puck, Anders Eriksson. For Sullivan. Sullivan in behind the goal for Zhamnov to the point. Karpatsev shot off a body and wide. Steve Sullivan, the former Maple Leaf, back out top to Eriksson, hurrying to hold in, but Bruce Gardner, the man who has scored the first ever goal in Columbus Blue Jackets history, also gets it clear to boot.
The Blue Jacket penalty killers are doing a good job of is getting sticks and bodies on pucks. There have been a few pucks launched towards Ron Tugnutt on the power play. None of them have gotten through, though, either being tipped wide or blocked by defensemen.
Zhamnov slowly over the Blue Jacket line to Karpatsev. Eriksson across to Amonte, fakes down low. Sullivan takes it in behind, looking to center. Still has it to Eriksson, firing right on. Tugnutt might have got a piece of it. Stevie Hines takes it away and slowly skates to center.
And I like the rotation there from the penalty killers of Columbus. They didn't worry about Sullivan. He had the puck all alone down low. He was behind the net, though. Not really a threat to score. They picked up the players in front. As a result, Sullivan ran out of time.
The rookie, Rico Van Arks, swoops in behind the Columbus goal to the point to Mironov. Other point, McCarthy firing wide. Daze out to Mironov, wristing right on. Routine save for Ron Tugnutt. He saw it the whole way.
Well, we mentioned Ron Tugnutt last year tying a career high with wins, 22, split between the Ottawa Senators and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Let's watch that great penalty killing from Columbus. Sullivan with a puck down low. You see everyone picking up a body, a red jersey in front of the net. That doesn't give Sullivan any options. As a result, he goes out to the point. That shot blocked by Tugnutt. And then they're out of danger. The puck over the blue line.
That initial adrenaline and emotion, Steve Conroy, has it waned a bit here as the first period has gone on?
Well, it has, but that isn't a bad thing either. You know, you're not going to be able to keep up that kind of intensity for 20 minutes. Dave King realized it. I think more importantly, he wants to get through these penalty kills. They've had one so far. They want to get through this second one, make sure Blackhawks don't get any kind of energy going into that first intermission.
Still a handful of seconds left on this Hawk power play. Another penalty upcoming. It will go against the Blue Jackets. Thibault goes to the bench for the 6th attacker. Here's Mironov cutting in shot, and the Blue Jackets possess the puck, and now we get the call.
Well, a dangerous situation here, although it'll only be for 15 seconds. A 5-on-3 for the Chicago Blackhawks. After that 15 seconds, it'll be a 5-on-4. And it's going against Kevin Dineen. Kevin Dineen, the elder statesman in this Columbus Blue Jacket team, killing the penalty. Watch him in front of the net, number 11. Well, that was when the penalty was called. Just prior to that, he had laid his lumber across the back of one of the Chicago Blackhawk forwards, earning him the penalty.
Head coach Dave King this morning said Kevin Dineen oftentimes likes to leave his brand on the opposition with that last whack before they skate away.
Well, I'll tell you, he might not be real big at 5'11", about 190 pounds, but he is tough. He's got plenty of grit, 36 years old, but you'd never know it by the way he plays.
Comes from a tradition-rich hockey family throughout the NHL. 2:26 left in the first period as the Blue Jackets will be short 2 men for 15 seconds as they try to protect this 3-0 lead. Nylander, Sullivan, Jamnov, Amonte, and Eriksson up front for the Hawks. Here's Eriksson on the left point to Jamnov. Down low, Sullivan. Cross ice, quick shot. Huge save, Ron Tugnutt. His save of the period. Jamnov back to the point, cross ice. Eriksson to Sullivan, down on his knees. Odeline blocks the pass. Another shot tipped wide as Olivois out of the box. Columbus only down 1 man. Nylander to Amonte. Out top for Jamnov. Tyler Wright and Olivois protecting the points. Amonte for Chicago. Nice fake to Jamnov. Cross ice for Eriksson. Touch pass to Jamnov. Back to Eriksson. One-timing Tugnutt. Pad save, and Christophe Olivois clears it away.
Oh, and Ron Tugnutt on top of his game right now. He's really in his zone. You talked about the save of the game thus far, robbing Nylander from in close. Nylander, I think the puck bounced on him a little bit. Took a little too much time to get it off. Tugnutt there with the glove save.
Amonte to that same man. Nylander back to the point. Jamnov faking across. Shot, pad save. Tugnutt cleared away by Bruce Gardner.
Oh, he's looking good. And that's a tougher save than it looked like from down here, or from up here, I should say. Moving from his right to his left. That shot labeled for the inside right post. And with cat-like reflexes, Tugnutt getting his leg on it.
Back come the Blackhawks. Nylander back to the point, but that point position was vacated by Mironov, so the Hawks have to regroup at center. Sullivan forced to dump it in by Hines. Daze almost steals the puck from Tugnutt. A collision behind the goal. Jamnov, errant clearing pass, forces the Hawks out to center ice. Only 15 seconds remain in the 5-on-4 power play for Chicago. Zelapukin spars with Kuchera along the far wall. Daze foraging for the puck, jars it loose. The Blue Jackets are back at full strength. Here's Sullivan dancing in. Tugnutt the save. He didn't see it, but he still stops it. Marha in the corner. Columbus back at full strength, but yet they cannot clear. Pusher guarding Marha. Daze joins the scene. Cycling it for Daze, wristing. Marha blocks. Now the shot. Tugnutt stick save. Still can't clear. Finally, we get the whistle.
Well, an excellent first period for the Columbus Blue Jackets, and they're hearing it from their hometown fans. Great action, good penalty killing, and as a result, they've got a commanding 3-0 lead.
Surprise, surprise. Columbus Blue Jackets leading the Blackhawks 3-0 after the first 20 minutes. We'll be back with Commissioner Gary Bettman when we return. Welcome back to Nationwide Arena. After the first period, the Columbus Blue Jackets leading the Chicago Blackhawks 3-0. It's a pleasure and honor now to introduce the commissioner of the National Hockey League, Mr. Gary Bettman. And Mr. Bettman, first off, what are your impressions of the city of Columbus and the reaction to the NHL?
You know, 3 years ago when we decided that this would be a great expansion site for us, in my wildest dreams, and they were pretty wild, I knew it would be good, but this has surpassed our expectations. The building's great, the community responds, the fan response. It's phenomenal, and who would have thought a 3-0 lead after one?
Gary, you talked about 3 years ago and you awarding a franchise to the ownership group in Columbus. What were the things that Columbus came up with that the NHL really liked when they saw the plan?
Well, when we went through the expansion process, the 3 criteria that we were most focused on were arena, market, and ownership. And Columbus got an A+ on all 3.
You know, we've seen expansion now at 30 teams. Last night we watched a game from overseas in Japan. What are the NHL's plans as far as those routes goes and overseas teams possibly?
Well, actually, the two are kind of related. We've been able to expand in the 90s by virtue of the fact that we have a worldwide talent pool unlike any of the other major sports. 26% of our players come from outside of North America, and so we were able to have an infusion of some of our most skilled players coming into the league while we expanded. We think 30 teams is enough. However, we do play games abroad. We played exhibition games in Sweden. We're in Japan with Nashville and Pittsburgh now because there's a great interest in this game worldwide. We're on television in 180 countries. As I said, a fair number of our players, some of the best players in the world, come from outside of North America. This is truly an international game.
Here we talk about the different direction the NHL is taking this year in terms of officiating. Talk a little bit about Andy Van Helleman's role.
Well, Andy is a Hall of Fame referee. He worked this game on the ice for 25 years. He spent 4 years after he retired in the ECHL. He's a real bulldog. He knows the game, and he knows what we want in terms of the level of and consistency of officiating. He's committed to doing it with the assistance of a little technology that we're using in terms of giving our referees laptop computers so we can feed them video after games, tell them what they did right and wrong, communicate with the whole staff at one time. That and the fact that we have 2 referees now in every game, the phase is complete, we think we can hold the standards and make the officiating the best ever.
Gary, thanks for the time. Keep up the good work.
Hey, it's great to be here.
That's the commissioner, Gary Bettman. We'll have more when we return to Nationwide Arena.
Man, where you been? Remember last summer we went to the ball game? You said, stay right here. I'll be back with a couple of Bud Lights.
I forgot to come back.
I sat there the entire season.
Wow, 50 games?
You know when I knew you weren't coming back?
When they tore down the stadium! Did you get to keep a seat? I'm kidding. This is my last Bud Light. Wait here.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light.
Power everything. Great stereo system. It's everything you get with the vehicle for the price. It's what builds it.
Just underway in the second period from Nationwide Arena. Here's Jeff Sanderson, shoots it in. Blue Jackets on top, 3-0 after that great first period. Matthias Tamander curls away from the forecheck of Amonte, and now it's lobbed all the way in to Chicago ice. Blue Jackets in their home white uniforms, adorned with that red, white, and blue trim. Kron diving in that pass, but it's intercepted by Amonte, and back come the Hawks. Zelapukin over the line to Zhamnov. To the point, Mironov has to hurry as he shoots it in recklessly. Amonte behind the net, losing to Odeline. Tamander moving up on the play, can't clear it, but Kron backing him up does. Robert Kron through center, dumps it in as Columbus is in the midst of a wholesale line change.
And Dan, I think what Dave King, head coach of the Blue Jackets, has to be particularly pleased with is the speed they threw at the Chicago Blackhawks and the way they were able to bottle up their defensemen. They really had them confused at times, and that's what led to 2 of those 3 goals. Well, we'll get a chance to look at all 3 goals from that first period, and set your VCRs, folks. Here's the first ever goal in franchise history. Bruce Gardner, good work by the other 2 forwards. Watch O'Bannon, Tyler Wright going hard to the net, and finally it's Viborny who picks up the loose puck, puts it under Jocelyn Thibault, and finally, again, great work along the boards. This time Steve Hines stays with his first shot, gets his own rebound. That's taken them to a 3-0 lead, and believe it or not, in the scoring sheet, 9 separate point getters for the Columbus Blue Jackets on those 3 goals. They're spreading around the well.
Kevin Adams shoots the puck in. Thibault casually whips it up the far wing. Adams aggressive on the forecheck. Gets to the puck behind the Hawk goal, right in front. No one there, and the Hawks on the counterattack. Bob Probert for Dodze. Back to Probert, but that play blown dead on an offside right at the Blue Jacket blue line.
Well, a situation where one of those red jerseys was in over the blue line before the puck got there. You see the shots on goal tonight, 9 each.
Shots on goal brought to you by Pepsi, the joy of cola. Oftentimes, Steve Conroy, shots do not necessarily tell who is dominating a hockey game.
No, that is true. It's normally the quality of shots, and we don't keep that separate stat, but all in all, a great period for the Blue Jackets.
Reto Van Arks wearing number 17. Another youngster on the Chicago team. You see that when a team rebuilds. Stefan Quintal has it. Aubin, Vaborny, and Wright, the three forwards for Columbus. Kuchera and Petteri Numelin back on the line. Here's Michael Nylander winding up those legs at neutral ice. On for Quintal, dumping it in. Tugnutt plays it up the near wing. He's knocked down. Penalty upcoming to the Hawks.
It'll be a goaltender interference call. You're not allowed to do that. You have to make every attempt you can to make sure you don't make contact with the goaltender. Steve Sullivan obviously not happy with the call. Tugnutt coming out to play the puck. And you're not supposed to do that. Steve Sullivan clearly could have stayed clear of Ron Tugnutt. You better watcher. He could pick up another 2-minute minor penalty or possibly a 10-minute misconduct. You see the interference call. Ron Tugnutt, as we watched him come out of the net, one of those netminders who really likes to get involved in the play, and I think that'll help the Blue Jackets. It'll help the defenseman. He'll almost act like a third defenseman back there, going back, shagging pucks, getting him up to his own teammates. I think Alpo Suhonen has to be a little concerned after watching his team fall behind 3-0. He's tried to bring a new type of game here to Chicago. He calls it a hybrid European North American game, and so far it hasn't been working.
5-on-4 power play underway for the Blue Jackets here. Not even 3 minutes into the second period as Numelin risks it in. Vaborny on the forecheck, sparring with Janssens. Janssens wins that duel as he shovels it to the Columbus line. Malte dumps it in. We haven't heard his name mentioned much tonight. Malte along the far boards, keeps the puck in with his skates. Aubin joining the scene. Right point, Numelin. Sanderson walks in, shoots. Thibault the save as he sprawls on top of the rebound.
Well, Jeff Sanderson has a rocket of a shot and good puck movement too by the Blue Jackets power play. Numelin, not only a good passer, but he's a hard passer too, and sometimes that's important to make sure you have plenty of time to shoot. Watch this quick hard pass right onto the stick of Jeff Sanderson. His head up, picking his spot. This is Steve Malte, number 17. The power play specialist parked off to the right of Jocelyn Thibault, hoping for a tip-in. Jocelyn Thibault down in the butterfly makes the stop.
Petteri Numelin inching in from that point, waiting for Serge Aubin to win that face-off. Aubin does to Hines. Steve Hines dancing in front. One hands it to Aubin. On to Jan Shalhoun. An aggressive box by the Blackhawks as Shalhoun in the corner. Feeds it in front. Aubin back to the point. Sanderson slap shot. Thibault puts the pads together. And
I'm sorry, Dan, that's one of the reasons Jeff Sanderson back there, one of the hardest shots in the team.
Marha long-range shot gloved away by Ron Tugnutt. 45 seconds left in the power play. Sanderson tries to cross the Hawk blue line, but it's a little too crowded for his liking. Back comes Chicago. Amonte, that big slap shot high and wide. Shalhoun to Aubin, who's ready to go to the bench. As a result, he loses the puck. And it's picked up by Petteri Numelin. Numelin marching over the Hawk line to Shalhoun to Vaborny. Shot off a stick and wide. Tyler Wright out top to Klesla. Rusty Klesla. Cross ice, Odeline snap shot. Drifting several feet wide. And the Hawks clear it away.
Well, some great puck movement, gaining the blue line. And that's something Columbus has had really a problem with tonight on the power play. They lead 3-0. The power play really hasn't threatened too much. They haven't been able to make the blue line. Their last rush up the ice did a great job getting the puck deep.
Malte throws it in front, bats around off of a few sticks, and the Hawks have it. Steve Sullivan for Eric Daze. Daze cuts in behind the goal, sends it in front, no one there, and Vaborny has it. Vaborny losing to Marha. Josef Marha looking for some help. Probert comes in behind the goal. Bob Probert loses to Klesla as Klesla hit from behind, can't clear. Probert throwing that weight around, moves it in front. Marha couldn't settle the puck down as Marha high sticked a bit, no call. Odeline thumps him to the end boards. Finally, it's knocked loose, and here come the Blue Jackets 3-on-2 if they hurry. Vaborny to Malte with Vaborny as the trailer, hits him with the pass. side of the goal it goes, right to Malte, back to the point, pusher, the drive, Thibault, save, and he's got the rebound.
Well, that's good hockey there by the Columbus Blue Jackets. Getting it in deep, almost getting a scoring chance from Steve Malte from in front of the net, then a blast from the point. This was earlier, about 2 minutes ago. I talked about making the blue line on the power play. That's Numelin. Nifty backhand pass. You see the shot set up, unfortunately deflected off a defender in front, never got on net. And that last rush, you see the shot coming from the point. White jerseys crashing towards Thibault. He wants a call from the referee. He's not going to get it. That's where Steve Malte probably gets about 70% of his goals. Is about a 10-foot radius in around that crease area. He's got great hands. He's a big guy too, and he'll park himself in that prime real estate area, pick up loose pucks, and try to get on a loose one there before Thibault covered it up.
It's been 6 long years since Steve Malte last played in the National Hockey League. He's been around for a while. This face-off to the left of Jocelyn Thibault. Kevin Adams, the Miami of Ohio product, wins the draw, cleanly backed up pusher. That shot through traffic a couple of feet wide. Kuchera sneaks in from the point, trying to keep the puck alive. Finally, it's taken away, and Sullivan kicks it to neutral territory. Both teams skating at full strength. Gardner up front along with Kevin Dineen and Kevin Adams. As Kuchera has it at the red line, trying to dump it in. He does with some help from Dineen. Retto, Van Arts trying to clear Dineen on that forecheck, being a pain in the side of the Hawks. Adams overskates the puck. Here's Mironov, long feet ahead to Van Arts, shot, he scores! Van Arts, the big blast, beats Ron Tugnut stick side, and the Hawks have life as they cut the Blue Jackets lead to 3-1.
Rito Van Arts just picked up in the draft last year, taken 271st overall. He's 24 years old, and he unleashed a slap shot that beat goaltender Ron Tugnut. Watch from the high camera angle, just at the top of the circle, unleashes one, beats him on the stick side. And you see Tugnut well out of his net, cutting off that angle. Not a lot of net for Van Arts to shoot at, but somehow he found a hole, beats Ron Tugnut, and gets the Blackhawks on the scoreboard.
Nationwide arena has grown more silent, but still a 2-goal cushion for the Blue Jackets. Here comes Chicago looking for more. Shot blocked by Robert Cron. Hines in on the forecheck after his own dump in, takes the hit, trying to get the puck, but it's picked up by Anders Eriksson, and he moves it to center. Vandenbush can't take the pass. It's Sanderson right back into enemy ice. Jeff Sanderson to the point, but it's tipped at the last moment. A good play there by Mark Janssens.
You know, Mark Janssens reading that perfectly, finding the defenseman partially open. He cut off the passing lane and picked off that pass.
Alexander Karpatsa, cross-ice pass for Eriksson. He's content to drive it in. The Hawks in the middle of a full line change. They take their sweet time as it's gloved down in neutral territory by Amonte. The Zelapukin long slap shot, a couple of inches wide. Good keep in by Cantal on the point. Tugnut takes the initiative to get the puck to Kuchera, and he whips it up the boards.
And a great play there too by Ron Tugnut, again getting involved offensively, jumping out on that loose puck and then making a sweet pass to his defense partner. And Ron Tugnut,
12:41 to go in the second. 3-1 Blue Jackets. Live action just underway. The Hawks digging down behind the Blue Jackets goal as Shamnoff and Amonte pinned against the wall. Zelapukin to Shamnoff, wrap around. Tugnut has the pad down, brought back in front, but this time Columbus skates away with it. Tyler Wright, one of the assistant captains, shoots it in. A little over 12 minutes to play in this middle period here inside Nationwide Arena as Vaborny steals into enemy ice. Back to Wright, snapshot. Thibault makes the chest save and holds on to the puck. for a face-off as Steve Conroy. We are very excited this evening. We talk about this hockey game. This is just the first of 65 games right here on Fox Sports Net.
Yeah, if you're a hockey fan in Ohio, you've got plenty to be happy about. Not only the lead, but all those games. And we see that last save by Jocelyn Thibault. You know, Vaborny, a guy you've mentioned a lot of times tonight, Dan, has had a very strong game for the Columbus Blue Jackets, not only offensively, defensively doing a job out there, breaking up plays in his own end. That's one thing Dave King talked about when we saw the youngster in training camp, is that he's not afraid to go into the corners.
Doug McLean, president and GM, said he may be small, but he sure doesn't play small. I'm talking about David Vaborny. Adams opposite Josef Marha on this draw. You see Adams with those legs spread far apart. Why does he do that, Steve? For leverage?
That is leverage. And he's a big guy, too. He's over 6 feet tall, so it really helps him to get down and low, and a lot of weight on that stick.
Shalhoub and Gardner flanked on either side. Rusty Klesla and Pusher on the point. Pusher's shot comes to Gardner. In front, Shalhoub waits. Shot blocked in front by Mironov, and he smartly falls right on top of the puck.
Yeah, that was a good play by Mironov. Not only blocking that original shot, but realizing now he was out of the play, he wants to get a whistle. Greg Adams started it all, or Kevin Adams started it all by winning that draw. Watch him pull it back to the point. The shot on net, that one doesn't get through. Follow-up attempt. That blocked by Mironov. Wisely covered it up and gets the draw off to the right of Jocelyn Thibault.
We'll do it again to the right of Thibault. Again, Adams against Marha. Adams for Pusher. Wrist shot blocked by Kevin Dean. He doesn't know where the puck is, finds it in the nick of time and clears to center. Klesla falls down. Here comes Marha. Centers in front. Tugnut diving to break up that play, but a penalty behind the play, tripping the call, and it's going to go against Columbus.
Well, a couple of great defensive plays there. You mentioned Klesla falling down. His defense partner, Jamie Pusher, really helped bail him out. Diving across, blocking that pass. Unfortunately, the winger didn't realize the pass was going to be tipped. Watch the left side of your screen. There's Klesla on the right falling down. The dive. Klesla ends up picking up the tripping penalty. Pusher, though, with a good job breaking up that 2-on-1 pass that never materialized. But the youngster in his first NHL game gets his first penalty, a tripping call.
Rusty Klesla, when he was drafted, the Sports Network in Canada referred to him as having matinee idol good looks. How do you get that on your bio?
I don't know, but give him a year in the NHL and get his face carved up a few times and he'll look like one of us.
So a Blackhawk power play here. 5-on-4 man advantage. Steve Sullivan. Crafty little wizard with the puck along the far wall. Back out top. Karpatsev has that pass a little too hot to handle. Settles it. For Sullivan to Erickson on the point. That tipped over the glass by Alex Shamnoff, and we'll have a face-off which should move outside of the Columbus zone since the puck last touched a Blackhawk stick.
And you see the fans here nationwide looking for that puck. That's a great souvenir. Normally you see about 7 to 10 pucks go into the stands. They're still looking for it. Oh, somebody finally found it. It was worth the persistence. There's something that fan can take home and have for the rest of his life.
That particular puck went over the glass very gently. Oftentimes they can go over the glass about 100 miles per hour.
Well, you've got to be aware.
Still 3-1 for Columbus, but they're in the midst of a key penalty kill as Chicago with 1:37 left on this power play. Karpatsev and Erickson paired up on the points for Chicago. Tyler Wright and Robert Cron get the assignment for Columbus up front to kill this penalty off. To Mander and the veteran Odeline on defense. Here's Sullivan tipping it in. Like an outfielder, Tugnut gloves it and holds on to it with Sullivan diving into his crease, and a few Blue Jackets take exception to that treatment.
Well, it looks like Tyler Wright in the thick of things. Here's a guy who'll get involved, sticking up for his teammates. Wasn't happy with Sullivan there taking the extra poke at Ron Tugnut as he skated by. Tugnut, as you mentioned, trying to short hop that, bobbled a little bit. I think that's why Sullivan got his stick in there. But Tyler Wright wasn't happy. And of course, we've come to expect that from Tyler Wright, the way he played in Pittsburgh last year. There he is covering up the puck. Oh yeah, Sullivan hard through the crease. He may end up getting a penalty for this too. He is headed to the penalty box. I see three Chicago Blackhawks strangling Tyler Wright there, but there's Sullivan in the penalty box. I would suspect that that's a goaltender interference call. We'll have to wait. Now it's offsetting minors because I see Tyler Wright of the Blue Jackets down in the penalty box now.
Well, I guess Tyler Wright did his job if three Blackhawks are trying to strangle him.
Tyler Wright, and it's been said before, will become a fan favorite before the end of this season. From the Buffalo Wild Wings cam, you get a look at that last action, the short hop. And this is what started it all. Tyler Wright not happy with Sullivan not putting on the brakes and avoiding the goaltender, skated right over top of him. Saw a little bit of face washing there, but Tyler Wright seems to be okay.
Hawks have it off the face-off. Jamnov sets up in his office. Trying to pitch it in front off of Kuchera. They score! Jamnov centers it in front. It looks like it ricocheted in off of František Kuchera. It counts. And now the Blue Jackets lead is cut to 3-2.
It looked like a harmless play, and František Kuchera just trying to do his job. Just cut off that passing lane. And watch from the camera in behind, off the knee of Kuchera into the net. Now, I don't know whether Jamnov was trying to do that or not. There was a Chicago Blackhawk forward standing in behind Kuchera. Had he not blocked it, the pass might have got to him. But as it turned out, off the knee of František Kuchera into the net. And more importantly, just a one-goal lead now for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Frankie Kuchera, very dependable on defense. He won't let that bother him. If he was a rookie, it might get him down, but Frankie Kuchera has been in the league long enough to just let that roll right off his back and get right back into this hockey game.
Only a one-goal lead as under 11 minutes left in this second period. Here's Kuchera right back on the ice, dumping it in. In on the forecheck, Vaborny and Aubin team up. Back to Newman, bats it out of midair to keep it in, but now he kicks it in. Newman showing his versatility. LaRue trying to move it out. Finally, Janssens lifts it to center ice. František Kuchera. Pass off the stick of Aubin, so there's no icing. Janssens defects it. Given a rough ride by Aubin. Here's LaRue with two Blue Jackets all over him. They take the puck away. Side of the goal. Vaborny couldn't get it off. Aubin. Nifty pass in front for Hines. Chopped out by LaRue.
Well, we've mentioned Vaborny's name a couple of times. We've also mentioned this man, Serge Aubin, having a strong first and second period here for the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Now only a 3-2 lead for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Under 10 to play in the second. Back live inside Nationwide Arena. 9:58 left, and the plot has thickened here. The Hawks with 2 unanswered goals. Only a 1-goal cushion for Columbus. Steve Hines along the boards, emerging with the puck. Right in front for Vaborny. That shot off a stick and wide, and Alexander Karpatsev with some time and room. Dragging it back to Mironov. Gets the puck across the red line, and then he's allowed to shoot it in. Tugnutt missing pusher with the breakout pass. Bob Probert to Nylander. Michael Nylander. Mironov moves in from the point in front. The quick shot by Van Arx. Tugnutt making the save.
And a great scoring opportunity there for the Chicago Blackhawks. You touched on it, Dan. Slowly, Chicago's starting to wrestle that momentum, that early momentum Columbus had in this game, back into their side of the ice. And another good stop there by Ron Tugnutt. You see Nylander showing all sorts of patience, hanging onto the puck, passing it right through the slot. The big shot. Fortunately for the Blue Jackets, Ron Tugnutt getting over from his left to his right, squaring to the shooter, making that stop. You know, Tugnutt's not real big. They list him at 5'11". I don't think he's that tall. Maybe 165, 170 pounds. But he's very active in the net, come out to challenge shooters. He likes to use that butterfly style among goaltenders.
Adams wins the faceoff from Jamnov. Commander back on defense with Lyle Odeline, the Columbus captain. Gardner, Shalhoub, and Adams, the forward three, as they shoot it in. Played by Erickson, comes right in front. Tebow Smart move there to pounce on the puck.
Jocelyn Thibault has settled down an awful lot since that first period. He wasn't given a lot of support out there, but he certainly didn't look very good on 1 or 2 of those goals. You mentioned his age, only 25 years old. This is his 8th year in the NHL. And one thing he is trying to shake is the label of poor starts. Last year started 1-4-3 for the Chicago Blackhawks. He has a loss already. He took the loss up in Buffalo a couple of nights ago. He'd love to get back in the winning column, and he'd like to start tonight.
Here's Amonte for the Hawks coming to center. Under 9 to play. It's Jamnov for Zelepukin. Back to the point. Karpatsev shot blocked. Look out. Here come the Blue Jackets on the counterattack, but it's at the end of a shift. They're a bit fatigued, so it's an icing as Karpatsev touching the puck. And we now go downstairs to Jeff Hogan, who is with a very special guest.
That's right, guys. Mo Bartoli up here. And Mo, you played 1966 here in Columbus with the Checkers. You didn't have a facility like this.
No, I sure say we didn't have a facility like this. We were up the fairgrounds, which we didn't know what building we were going in sometimes, you know, because it was all new to us, and hockey was fairly new to Columbus then. And it was great, though. But this here is just amazing. I made a point to come down here from Canada to the opening, and because I know a lot of people here, and it's a great city, and I think it's going to do real well.
You're certainly not alone. We have lots of visitors from Canada. Now, you've got another piece of history. You played an exhibition game against this very Blackhawk franchise.
Yeah, we were affiliated with Chicago then the first year, and when we came in, we just came in. We broke training camp in St. Catharines, Ontario. We played the Blackhawks at the Coliseum, but due to a lot of trouble with the ice and horse show just coming out of there, the game was cut short. It was they ended up playing 3 10-minute periods, and Bobby Hull was just skating on cement, and it was that bad. And but the thing is, the fans stuck it out, and that was in Canada. They all want their money back. Not here in Columbus. They just enjoyed seeing those sparks flying, I think.
Where do your allegiances lie, real quick?
Well, they lie right here now with Blue Jackets.
All right, great. Dan, Steve?
Petteri Nummelen back to grab the puck in behind the Blue Jacket goal. Giveaway. Amonte shoots. He scores. Amonte has tied it at 3.
And a costly giveaway from the rookie Nummelen. You don't like to see those types of outlet passes up through the middle, and Tony Amonte made him pay. He had all sorts of time. Gloved down that errant pass. Got his head up right away. Instead of electing to deke, which Amonte normally does, spotted a hole and put it past goaltender Ron Tugnutt. There's Nummelen trying to go up the middle. Didn't get a lot on that. And you see the pickoff by Amonte jumping from his skates. And from this angle, looked like 5-hole between the legs of goaltender Ron Tugnutt. Watch again. Amonte gets airborne, gets it to the ice. The quick shot. And that wasn't 5-hole. That was another hole on Ron Tugnutt. And Amonte ties it at 3.
His first of the season. The wrong man to give the puck away to. As the Hawks have tied things up at 3, looking for their first lead of the game. Serge Aubin whips it up the far wing. Dineen leaving for Pusher. Back to Dineen. Out of his reach, and the Hawks move it back over the Blue Jacket line. Jansen's a soft dump in. Klesla up the near wing to Vaborny. At center ice, Dineen steps around Mironov and dumps it in. Thibault wires it up the far wing. Pusher pinching in from the right point, keeps the puck in. Jean-Yves Leroux knocked down by Dineen. Vaborny enters the scene, trying to walk in front, hauled down by Leroux, and a Blue Jacket power play upcoming.
And that was called from the referee out at the blue line from about 60 feet away. Vaborny weaving his magic again, draws the penalty, and gives the Columbus Blue Jackets a chance to maybe regain some of this momentum that Chicago has dragged away from them. Play along the boards of Vaborny with great puck possession. He gets hog-tied, dragged down by J.Y. Leroux. And Leroux will sit the next 2 minutes in the penalty box.
Steve, this must be a situation where the Blue Jackets give up 3 unanswered goals, where they rely upon their veterans to take over.
Well, they'd really like to rely on their power play to take over, too, because it has not been that good so far tonight. They've had some pressure. They haven't scored yet. All 3 goals have come at even strength. This would give the team a huge boost.
Aubin between Shalhoub and Hines. Newmelin and Sanderson on the points. Amonte shoots it up, but not out. Good keep in by Petteri Newmelin. Hines out to the left point, but Sanderson was out of position, and the Blue Jackets have to regroup. Quiet crowd here in the latter stages of the second period after those 3 Hawk goals, but here comes Shalhoub trying to rev up the crowd. Waits, shoots it wide. Newmelin holding in. Stolen by Eriksson and quickly shot out.
Steve Hines almost made something out of nothing there. He's shown me a lot in these first 2 periods. Great hands, stick handling there, passing while he was falling down. And it was Shalhoub who just shot it a little wide.
Marha, Borkenthal on the right point. The Hawks short-handed, but they have possession in the offensive zone. Now on the other point, Dean keeps it in. Under a minute left in this Columbus power play. Slowly, Jeff Sanderson lugging to center. Peels back for David Vaborny. There's no room in that neutral zone to move. Finally, right heading north. On to Malte. Into enemy ice. His pass stolen. And it's Odeline rifling it in.
Well, a situation right now where the power play isn't really on the same page. Guys kind of running their own patterns. And as a result, the Blue Jackets having all sorts of problems just trying to make the line of the Chicago Blackhawks.
Kevin Dean with that football-style face mask shoots the puck in. It's picked up by Rostislav Klesla for Vaborny. Vaborny cross ice to right. Down low to Vaborny. Has Malte in front. Karkatsev a good play to steal. And Anders Eriksson shovels it to center ice. Here come the Blackhawks. Sullivan for LaRue, but it's broken up there by the rookie Klesla. Right into enemy ice. Cycles it down behind the goal. LaRue can't clear. Dean gives it a try. Klesla holding in. Wrist shot from the point. Loose side of the goal. Vaborny couldn't get any wood on it. The Hawks recapture. Slowly to neutral ice. LaRue dumps it in. Tugnut elects to slow the play down. He freezes the puck. We've got ourselves a great hockey game brewing in Ohio. Blue Jackets and Hawks knotted at 3. The Regional Sports Report is presented by Blimpie Subs and Salads. Our Regional Sports Report, Ohio State, Wisconsin highlights, and a post-game report from Andy Baskin. Shalhoub on this ever-important face-off deep inside his own end. He wins it from Jansen. Odeline scooping it to center. Sullivan sees it first for Chicago, and they shoot it in. Little Steve Sullivan motors in on the forecheck, but Commander calmly and coolly able to help clear it back into the Chicago end.
One thing that the Blue Jackets have kind of gotten away from is using their speed. They've got to start throwing some speed at these big, slow Chicago defensemen. And if they can do that, they can keep them in their end just a little bit longer. They can maybe get some scoring opportunities on TiVo.
Oliva, Adams, and Gardner, the forward 3. As we have a delayed offside called right at the Blue Jacket blue line with exactly 4 minutes left.
Delayed offside, as you mentioned. They gave them a chance to come out. They didn't in time, so they blew the whistle. As we look at Newmelin on the blue line for the Columbus Blue Jackets, and I know he'd like to have that last one back, that ill-advised pass up the middle, but that's something he'll learn in his career. Remember, he's a rookie, his first year in the NHL, had an outstanding career overseas in Europe last year. In fact, he led all defensemen in scoring the last 3 years over there.
Steve, under 4 minutes to play in the second period. Has the emotion cooled down from both clubs?
Yeah, I think it has, and especially, unfortunately, for the Columbus Blue Jackets. That one goal by Van Arks really changed the complexion of this game.
It's Robert Cron, number 18. Stick handling in deep. Hurls in the corner. Klesla pinching in from the point. Here's Jeff Sanderson. Cross ice to Klesla. Klesla, nice move. Another one. Couldn't get the shot off as Dean tied him up.
Klesla showing what made him the 4th overall pick in last year's amateur draft. Great hands, just couldn't pull the trigger.
Bob Probert fended off by Pusher. Klesla trying to golf it out. Probert holds in for Josef Marha, but Stevie Hines, wearing the apropos number 57, jars it loose for Klesla and fires it up the near wing. They'll have to do it once again as Karpatsev holds in, as the Hawks aggressive on their forecheck, sending 2 men in. Daze in front. Jansen absolutely robbed by Ron Tugnut. Finally, Klesla clears the center. Here comes Columbus, but behind the play, we've got a little brouhaha. Jamie Pusher and Ryan Vandenbush, and Vandenbush flailing away with that left, and here comes Jamie Pusher, also a lefty, trying to land some. As Vandenbush landing the uppercut.
Jamie Pusher has a bit of a height advantage there. Unfortunately for him, he lost his helmet. At a bit of a disadvantage there, but he did cut Ryan Vandenbush with one of those shots to the face. Looks as if Jamie Pusher got a little scratch on his nose too. The first official fight in Nationwide Arena. I guess that should go in the record books too.
Sounds like everyone liked it. Problem was the Blue Jackets were about to break on a 2-on-2.
And another outstanding save right on the doorstep of Ron Tugnut. You see him stack the pads, make the stop. Klesla took care of Jansen, and then it was Jamie Pusher taking care of Ryan Vandenbush. You see away from the play, and good job by the cameraman there to stay with it. Both players dropped their gloves, and that normally signifies the start of a fight. And it was a good one, too. They didn't just tie up and dance, Dan. They actually threw some pretty good haymakers.
Jamie Pusher has not been shy throughout the preseason. He fought some of the biggest and baddest customers in the NHL, namely Peter Worrell there in Florida, who towers over Jamie Pusher.
Well, he's a gamer, Jamie Pusher, and Dave King realizes that, and that's why he'll be an important part of that defensive core on the blue line. We've talked about his size. Jamie Pusher also won a Stanley Cup with the Detroit Red Wings back in 1997. So Dave King, well aware, you need those kind of guys on your team. Dave King, not a proponent of fighting in hockey, but when push comes to shove, you have to stand up for yourself, and you have to have those types of players to take care of teammates, and that's why Dave King has him in the lineup tonight.
So it looks like the Blue Jackets will go on the power play as Ryan Vandenbush receives an extra 2-minute penalty for charging.
92, Michael Nylander.
Well, a break here to close out this second period, 2:46 to go. And the Blue Jackets on the power play. The power play has not generated a lot of scoring opportunities. Let's see what they can do with this one.
Final 2 minutes of the period. Is it the worst time to ever give up a goal?
Oh, yeah. You know, any coach will tell you, you do not want to give up a goal in the last 2 minutes. Gives the other team all sorts of energy going into that intermission, something positive to talk about. So you'll see the Chicago Blackhawks at their penalty killing best.
Let's see what the Blue Jackets can do. Here's Robert Cron winding up in his own end. On to Petteri Nummela at center, across for Odeline. Back to Cron. Into enemy ice on the power play. 2:25 left in the second. Odeline, right point, Nummela whips it. It's Cron. They maintain control. Down low, Cantal intervenes, whips it up the near wing. Great hold in by Odeline. Vaborny. Trip down, no call. It's Odeline on the point. Time and room. Down low for David Vaborny, for Tyler Wright. Behind the net to Cron. Cron right in front. Problem is no Blue Jackets there, and it's cleared out.
And some excellent puck work preceding that pass out front. Not too much Cron could do. He was hoping a white jersey would be there.
Again, Vaborny in the midst of the offense, losing the puck to Karpatsev, and he drills it out. Columbus changing their power play personnel as Jeff Sanderson in that blistering wrist shot / slap shot up front. He's wearing number 8. He risks it in. In on the forecheck, Hines lets Sanderson take it. Operating in the corner, Sanderson chops it loose for Hines, shoots, Tebow, save, big rebound laid out. Klesla can't get it off, and it's cleared out by Marha.
And a strong move by the power forward Steve Hines, going hard to the net, making the goaltender really commit himself, had to drop down and make that stop. Big rebound. Unfortunately for the Blue Jackets, no one there to jump on the loose puck.
Another former fellow Bruin, Matthias Tamander, shoots it out to neutral ice quickly, shot back in by Karpatsev. Final minute of the second period. 3 unanswered goals by the Blackhawks have got them right back into this hockey game. Here's Sanderson meandering across the red, now over the blue. Sends it down low for a waiting Stevie Hines. Hines trying to finesse it in front. Can't. Jansen's good anticipation, and he clears it ahead to Nylander. Nylander walks over the Blue Jacket line, falling down, but dishing to LaRue, right back to Nylander. To the point, Quintal's shot blocked by Adams. Splinters his stick right in half. 15 left. Good play by Tamander. Takes the puck away, trying to clear. Malte pushes the Hawk McCarthy out to center. Gets the job done.
Well, that's what you want to do, force that puck out over the blue line. Those 5 players were getting tired, and Malte, aware of that, wanted to make sure that he worked that puck out over the blue line. Steve McCarthy, the rookie, officially a rookie this year. Last year played under 10 games with the Chicago Blackhawks before they sent him back. They're expecting big things from this kid. He's a great skater. They're hoping he can help one day really quarterback that power play. An effortless skater on the blue line. Possesses some pretty good skills too, pretty good slap shot. As we mentioned, almost made the team last year, but they decided to give him another year of seasoning in the junior ranks, as I think the Columbus Blue Jackets will have that decision to make with Radoslav Klesla at some point. Of course, he can play up to 10 games here in the NHL, and after that, he has to stay in the NHL. The Blue Jackets, if they elect to, can send him down back to his junior team before the 10 games are up.
Lyle Odeline, 7 seconds left in the period. Still one more period to play here in Nationwide Arena as the Hawks. Eriksson shoots it to center. Kuchera picks it up, but the horn sounds to end this second period. Not a good one for the Blue Jackets, as we see the Blackhawks score 3 unanswered goals as we're deadlocked at 3 after 40 minutes here from Nationwide Arena.
Well, a couple of bad breaks really for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Ended up in the back of their net, one off the knee of Kuchera, and then an ill-advised pass by Newmelin made them pay, and it's a tie game at 3.
Our game summary from GMC by GM, proud sponsor and the official truck of your Columbus Blue Jackets.
You see Bruce Gardner with the first ever goal for the Columbus Blue Jackets.
And of course, the first goal scored by Bruce Gardner electrified Nationwide Arena. We now send things down to Jeff Hogan.
All right, thanks, Dan. I got Bruce Gardner right here. And Bruce, we're going to go back one period and talk about some history making with your first goal. What happened on that?
Well, you know what? I just went to the net, and all of a sudden, Christoph Olio and I were all alone and just picked up some garbage. And one of Christoph's rebounds managed to just kind of went off his glove, I guess, and just trickled over the line. So I'll take it.
Obviously, that one will go down in history. Now, a very different second period. How hard is it to keep the emotion that you guys had after everything that goes on an opening night like this throughout that second period?
Obviously, it's a little bit tough, but I think we got away from a few of the things that we've been known to do well. You know, we play well and we play simple hockey. We get it up, we get it in. We go to the net hard, and we shoot the puck on the net. Obviously, we got a little bit too cute there, coming out of our own end a couple times. And you know, when you cough the puck up to guys like Amonte, they're going to make you pay every time. They're big-time goal scorers in this league, and they played well that period.
All right, Bruce Gardner, thank you very much. You win the third period, you win the game. Thanks a lot for joining us. More from the Bank One second period intermission report right after this.
We loved our first Elantra so much, we went out just a week later and bought ourselves a second one. The Elantra offers plenty of safety features. Airbags, lots of room for car seats, kids' toys. It gives excellent gas mileage. It's a great family car. The warranty's the best in America. It's nice to know that I won't have to put more money into my car as I'm still paying for it.
Test drive a Hyundai at Dennis Hyundai, Reichert Hyundai, and Hatfield Hyundai today.
Columbus Blue Jackets hockey on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Jeep. Jeep and your local Jeep dealers. Lowe's. Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse. Lowe's improving home improvement. Chrysler. Chrysler and your local Chrysler dealers. Spots are available for the inaugural Columbus Blue Jackets Foundation Golf Classic on next Tuesday, October 10th at the exclusive Double Eagle Golf Club located just outside of Columbus. To reserve your spot, call 246-3738. We'll be back with more after this from Nationwide.
Knotted at 3 at Nationwide Arena. Jeff Hogan back. Corcom brings you scores from around the league. Get Corcom eChat and get unlimited premium internet with your local phone service. As we see a 3-3 tie up on the board, Columbus and Chicago, it is time to check around the league and check out our scoreboard. Sammy Kapanen, 2 goals for Carolina tonight, and Curtis Joseph made 21 saves in the net for Toronto as you take a look at scores from around the league. We are not in at 3. We've got more second period highlights when we come back right after this.
The second period intermission is brought to you by Bank One, preferred financial partner of the Columbus Blue Jackets, as the Chicago Blackhawks in that second period tied things up at 3, and we take a look at that first Blackhawk goal, Steve.
Well, some second period highlights here. This is really the goal that changed the complexion of the game. Redo Van Arks with a howitzer of a slap shot right from the top of the circle, somehow eludes goaltender Ron Tugnut. That got Chicago on the board, and that changed the momentum. Then a little later on, it was a lucky goal, this time by Alexei Zamnov in behind the net, and watch number 3, Kuchera, go down, try to block the pass. It ends up going off his knee between the legs of goaltender Ron Tugnut. That made it a 1-goal lead for the Columbus Blue Jackets. It was 3-2 at this point, and an ill-advised pass from the rookie Numelin up the middle, not to that man Amante. He makes you pay, and he does, puts it past Ron Tugnut for the tie game.
So 3 goals by the Blackhawks. The Blue Jackets had 3 in the first. We'll see what the third period has in store for us up next. Back inside Nationwide Arena, and we take a look at our Bank One Slapshot Jackpot. At the start of the third period, each game this season, one lucky fan will participate in the Bank One Slapshot Jackpot. If the Blue Jackets score in the first 10 minutes of the third period, that night's contestant wins $250 or more in mutual fund shares from the One Group Mutual Funds. To enter, send a postcard with your name, address, phone number, and email address to Bank One Slapshot Jackpot, care of the Columbus Blue Jackets, 200 West Nationwide Boulevard, Columbus, Ohio, 43215, or register on bluejackets.com. And tonight's special contestant is Ronald Elliott from Lewis Center, Ohio.
I think Lyle Odeline realized the importance of this third period. They played so well in the first, and they let Chicago get back into it in the second. So that can be all water under the bridge as long as they give it their all and come out with a strong third period here.
And they're off in the third period from Ohio. Cron immediately dumps it in. Karpatsev to fetch it. Can't clear. On the forecheck, Jeff Sanderson causing some havoc. Trying to kick it in front, hauled down as the puck underneath him. It finally squirts loose and it comes to Amante. Erickson jumping up on the play. Here's Erickson, drop pass, but play blown dead on an offside right at the Blue Jacket blue line.
Well, Erickson, a big, strong defenseman. He's spent a couple of years now for the Chicago Blackhawks organization, originally from the Detroit Red Wings, and that's where associate coach Newell Brown had him with the Adirondack Red Wings, the AHL. And he said this guy has got all sorts of ability. The one knock on him, though, is the baby fat. That 27 years old, he's still carrying some of that baby fat. Weighs in at about 215 pounds. Newell said he'd play his best hockey at about 205.
The Hawks, Anders Eriksson. Unable to penetrate the Blue Jacket line as it's guarded by Odeline. Both teams skating at full strength. Odeline and Tamander paired up on defense, and they'll be tested now. Here's Amante with Zhamnov. Amante holding up. Cycling to Zhamnov. Sanderson comes in, takes the puck away with some help from Odeline, but they can't move it out. Tugnut tips it away from the forechecking Amonte. Stevie Hines takes that airborne pass and knocks it back for Tamander as the Hawks head to the bench for a partial line change. David Vaborny for Tamander, cross ice to Lyle Odeline at the tail end of a shift. Missing with Aubin with that pass. In on the forecheck. He doesn't touch it first, so it's an icing against the Columbus Blue Jackets. 90 seconds gone in this third period. And we talk about a big player for the Chicago Blackhawks. Big things were expected of him right there, number 55, Eric Daze. And just a couple of days ago, the Sun-Times from Chicago reported that he was involved in some talk with a possible package for Peter Bondra.
Yeah, and those kind of rumors of Dodge in the last couple of years in Chicago, and I think that's affected his on-ice performance. Remember, as a rookie, he had 30 goals. That led all rookies that year. He was runner-up to Daniel Alfredson for Rookie of the Year honors, but it has kind of been downhill ever since for the big man. He's got size, he's got good hands, but I think sometimes his head isn't where it's supposed to be. And when you read about yourself in the paper all the time and about what team you're supposed to be traded to, it sometimes takes away from your performance.
There's Probert's side of the goal. Can't center it in front. He's up front with Josef Marha and big Eric Daze. The two big men and the little guy Marha. As Probert being worked over by Aubin. He's showing some grittiness. Marha to the point to Mironov. Chest save. Tugnut. Rebound loose. Mironov takes a hack at it. That's blocked. Vaborny trying to redirect it out. Kent gets another try. Kept in by Marha. Probert. Marha. Fans on the shot. Vaborny still can't clear it. This big line of the Hawks hemming the Blue Jackets in their own zone. Finally, Tile to the right tries to move it out, but not with much authority. Centered in front. Dean, quick shot. A scrum right in the Blue Jacket goal, and the puck is somewhere underneath the mass of bodies.
Well, that fourth line, the Chicago Blackhawks spent almost the entire time deep in the Columbus Blue Jackets end. That's a situation where somebody from the Blue Jackets just has to grab the puck and ice it. I know you're at home and you're trying to put on a show for the fans here, but you've got to get a whistle. They were tired, and this was the tail end of that long shift. You see Tugnut doing everything he could do to keep that puck out over the goal line. He did. It came loose, and it's wide right now. The whistle had gone. You see the referee with both hands up over his head. And the Blue Jackets dodge a bullet.
There's been a lot of action in either goaltender's crease tonight. Kevin Adams, number 42, to take this draw against Sullivan. Adams, a good job to knock it back to Klesla. Blue Jackets can't clear. Sullivan side of the net. The Van Arks, he scores! And it's 4-3 Chicago. Van Arks with his second of the night, and the Hawks have their first lead.
Well, the rookie with his second of the night takes advantage of a rookie pass. This time it's Klesla. Kind of a failed clearing attempt behind the net, trying to bank it to his defense partner. He didn't bank it hard enough, though. Intercepted by one of the Blackhawk forwards. Watch, Klesla has the puck, being interfered with, tries to bank it off the boards. It's Sullivan who steals it. Perfect pass to Van Arks. He's looking at an open net. And that second goal of the game is a gift for him. Again, the end zone camera. Klesla got to be a little harder with it behind the net, especially when there's pressure. And Chicago, once down 3-0, now has the lead.
4 unanswered goals. We will see how the boys from Columbus respond. Lyle Odeline shoots it in. It glances off a Hawk, so no icing. Stefan Quintal. Now it's McCarthy, the rookie, emerging with the puck to center. Tamander for Columbus. Cross ice for Odeline, ahead to Gardner. Gardner offside as Adams couldn't hold up with that blazing speed.
Well, this will be a good test for the Columbus Blue Jackets. They were riding on top of the world with that 3-0 lead, now down. It'll really test their mettle. Let's take another look at that last goal. I thought Klesla being involved in some good offensive plays, some good defensive plays. They'd like to have this one back. You can't take anything away, though, from Steve Sullivan. He picked that out of the air. Perfect pass to Van Arks. Yesterday, that game against Buffalo, the first Swiss-born player to play in the NHL.
Not a bad 9th round draft choice by the Hawks. 271st overall, and here he is in the NHL. Under 17 to play. Blue Jackets trailing by a goal. McCarthy roughed up by right on the forecheck. Janssens to Ryan Vandenbush. Was involved with that second period scuffle with Pusher as Chicago dumps it in. Klesla losing the puck to Janssens. LaRue also there trying to dig it loose. That puck has to be still for 5 seconds or the referee has to lose sight of it. He does it and play goes on. Vandenbush blocked by Klesla. Stevie Malte, nice redirection feed at center. Oliva can't move around. Cantal, here we go. Christoph Oliva. And Cantal going at it.
The two tough cookies, Cantal, strong man and about 6'3", 3 inches tall. Oliva has the height advantage at 6'5". I don't think anyone really landed a good clean punch. Both players losing their balance at one point. But Christoph Oliva doing his job, trying to get these Blue Jackets back into it. They've lost the momentum. Sometimes a scrap like that can gain it back to your side.
Not a bad first fight for Christoph as he's still shaking off the cobwebs. One of the toughest customers in the NHL, Mr. Oliva.
And this is the hit that really started it all. Cantal finishing his check. Oliva not real happy with it, drops his gloves, and that's where Oliva really lost his balance to start with. Got himself back into it, and then it was Cantal who ended up losing his balance. Cantal, remember, just his first game with the Chicago Blackhawks, coming from the New York Rangers in a waiver deal from a couple of days ago.
The second time general manager Mike Smith has acquired Stefan Cantal, and he used to be the GM of the Winnipeg Jets. He then acquired him from the St. Louis Blues. Kron, Hines, and Sanderson, the big three up front for the Blue Jackets. Off the draw. It's shot out by Eriksson down the ice. It's on goal, so no icing. Here's the calm veteran František Kuchera to Kron, missing Sanderson with the pass. Amonte up front with Zhamnov and Zelepukin. Tony Amonte, the Hingham, Massachusetts native, dumps it in. Kuchera to fetch it. Can't clear. Marha for Zelepukin. The former New Jersey Devil back to Amonte. Returning to Zelepukin. Behind the goal is Zhamnov. Guarded by Sanderson. Zhamnov slithers loose. Back for Amonte, trying to move it in front. He does, but it goes by everyone, and back come the Blue Jackets. With some life heading north, Hines. With Sanderson on his wing, Hines cuts in down low. Losing the puck to Zhamnov is a good defensive play there by Anders Eriksson to take the body. And the Hawks move it to neutral territory. Back on the attack, Hines. To Pusher, can't hold it in. There's Eriksson diving to clear it.
In a strong play, too. Not only knocking down Hines, stopping the puck, but it was a defenseman trying to jump in on the loose one.
Robert the shot. Tugnut the save. Didn't know where the puck was for a moment, but it's right underneath him.
One of those situations where Tugnut hadn't seen a shot in a while, and then all of a sudden, from a mass of bodies, Probert gets his stick on the puck, releases a quick one, and I think it was Tugnut really felt it before he saw it. Marha with the good work. Probert. I think Tugnut saw it. He just didn't know where the puck had gone, where the rebound had gone. He was making sure it was caught up in his padding. Didn't want any loose garbage out around the crease.
Bob Probert, is he the toughest man to ever play in the NHL?
You know, I'd have to say so. I played against him for a number of years. I played with him with the Detroit Red Wings, and never changed his game plan. He was always there when you needed him.
He's right there in the corner, battling another tough customer, Odeline, as Daze drifts that shot several feet wide. Mironov or Marha in front. Daze trying to finesse it in front, but read perfectly by Aubin. Tyler Wright shoots it in softly. The Hawks can't move it out. Vaborny along the near wall takes a few hacks at it, but it's chipped out by Chicago. Almost 6 minutes gone in this third period. The Blackhawks have their first lead of the evening. The goal from Van Arts has made it 4-3. There's Matthias Tamander ahead for Odeline. Shot in by Wright. Along the near wall, Vaborny shoveling it in front, but his teammates were changing as he does the same. As the Hawks now lulling the Blue Jackets to sleep. Sullivan pushing it to center. Knocked down by Rusty Klesla. Ahead to Gardner. Has his pocket picked by Nylander. Over the line to Van Arts. Slap shot off the stick of Gardner and wide.
And right now, Chicago just kind of playing that prevent defense, waiting for mistakes, jumping on loose pucks. They don't want to go out there and score another goal. They're happy to protect that one-goal lead.
Now the puck chipped over the tall glass behind Jocelyn Thibault. The Blackhawks leading the Blue Jackets 4-3. Only 13-14 left. Face off at center. Adams opposite Mark Jansen. And Jansen's wins the draw, but the Blue Jackets gain possession. They quickly relinquish control as Kevin Dean or Mark Jansen's lofts it in, gloved down nicely by Klesla. Adams, Malte, and Deneen up front. Here comes Kevin Adams. Trucks over the Hawk line. Malte on the forecheck, but the play whistled down on an offside right at the blue line. 12:53 remaining in the third period.
Well, Dave King, the first head coach in Columbus Blue Jackets history, and I think a perfect match for this squad. He's a real teacher, a real professor of the game of hockey, and we've seen a lot of rookies in the lineup tonight. He'll help teach those guys exactly what the NHL is all about. A lot of those guys obviously are going to be learning on the job. And the one thing I like about Dave King, we've seen it tonight, Numelin with a giveaway and a resulting goal, and Klesla with a giveaway resulting goal. Both those guys right back out there. So he doesn't want to hurt their confidence any. He'll talk to them about it on the bench and make sure they become the best players they can be.
Robert Cron loops and regroups in his own end. Hines and Sanderson now up front. Dave King juggling the lines a bit here in the third period as they dump it in. Jamnoff can't clear Odeline. That wrist shot from the point blocked by Zelapukin. Here's Amonte the other way. Holding up over the line in the high slot. Sullivan cranks it up. Tugnut save. The rebound laid out, but Amonte fanned on it. The Blue Jackets can't clear Amonte. Cross ice speed. That one-timer from Jamnoff stopped by Tugnut.
Well, a couple of big saves there by Tugnut. Breakdowns in their own end. Good scoring opportunities, but the little man was the big man coming up with the stops.
Tamander brings the puck over the red line and lobs it in as Columbus seeking a partial line change. With under 12 minutes left, Kuchera back to pick it up. Cross ice for feed for Petteri Numelin. As it's Daze stealing in neutral territory for Josef Marha. Flipping it in, but a Blackhawk. I believe Eric Daze was trapped inside the Blue Jackets zone offside.
Well, strange turn of events, really. 3-0 lead, and really all the wind taken out of the sails of these Blue Jackets with that first goal by Rito Van Ark. Still plenty of time to go, though. 11:35 as we look at Steve Malte on the bench. You know, this is one of those situations where Dave King can't look down the bench and see a 30 or 40 goal scorer. Of course, in the expansion draft, not a lot of those guys were made available. So they're just going to have to do it through hard work.
A very quiet night to date for Steve Malte, but he's that type of player where he's quiet all evening and then he bangs home too.
Yeah, you know, and thinking of Steve Malte, he gets a lot of his quality minutes on the power play, and the Blue Jackets have really struggled a little bit in that department. We haven't seen that many power plays lately for the Blue Jackets. We might see one now.
Bob Probert in the midst of everything for Chicago, and he looks like he might be escorted off for 2 minutes.
Well, he had some words for Tyler Wright, too. I don't think he was very happy with the way Wright went down. Wright drawing the penalty, though, so giving his team an opportunity to get back into this game and tie it. Watch the right side of your screen. Probert just trying to set a bit of a block there, a pick. A little too strong on Tyler Wright. Wright lost his balance right there. Oh, yeah, he had a stick into his midsection, lifted him off the ice. So for the next 2 minutes, Bob Probert will sit in the penalty box.
So far in this Blue Jacket power play, Steve, it seems like the biggest challenge has been gaining the zone.
Yeah, it has been, and I mean, you got to give the Chicago Blackhawks some credit too. It's tough to protect that blue line with 4 guys when you're a man down. It's the longest 2 minutes of your life when you've got a 1-goal lead, you take a penalty, and you've got to sit in the penalty box. Alpo Suhonen, I think, still tinkering with this team. Talking to him this morning, he's going back to Chicago after the game. They don't play again until Thursday, and he says they're going to keep reassessing this team until he has his line combinations just right.
Wright wins the face-off, back for Petteri Numelin, but it's taken away by Jamnov. Springing Amonte, 2-on-2, short-handed. It's Jamnov, curls behind the goal, out top. Eriksson, one-timer. Tugnut back near the goal line, makes the stop. Here come the Blue Jackets. Wright weaves across center and shoots it in. Barrels in on Eriksson, but Eriksson clears it right up the gut, and the Blue Jackets will have to regroup.
A sign of a good defenseman there. Eriksson knew he was going to get hit, took the hit, knew he was going to pay the price, and they made the nice play up the middle of the ice.
Only a minute 18 left on this 5-on-4 power play. Here comes the little wizard back on the blue line. Numelin ahead for Malte. Can't move it in front. Sanderson for Petteri Numelin. Waits, shoots, tipped just wide. In front as Tyler Wright got a stick on it. Good keep in by Numelin for Sanderson. Missing Wright with the puck, but Tamander sneaks in from the point, trying to kick it down low. Given a rough greeting by Karpatsev, and that allows the Hawks to clear it away.
Well, some good possession there by the Columbus Blue Jackets down deep. They were unable to get it off the boards, though, and that's sometimes tough to do when you have the man advantage. Good aggressive penalty claim from the Blackhawks.
Robert Cron, stick handling over the line. Centers right in front. Hines. Puck was bouncing, couldn't get good wood on it. Klesla does, blocked in front. As Thibault snares it off the deflection, and we take a look, Steve Conrad, at this Chicago Blackhawks team under a new head coach, Alpo Suhonen. Do they look like a different team?
Well, I think they do. You know, he mentioned last week that he wants to be a team that moves laterally more than north-south. Of course, when you think of the Chicago Blackhawks, you think of those teams that just went up and down the boards and really punished you with their bodies. See the power play numbers, 0 for 5 tonight for the Blue Jackets, and we talked about it in the open. That could be one of the keys tonight. You get that power play going, gets the team's confidence going, and I think you also get the other team thinking a little bit, a little more hesitant to take penalties, maybe play a little more tentative. Still 25 seconds, though, which is plenty of time as long as they win the draw on this power play.
Cron to take this important face-off against Alex Jamnov. The folks inside Nationwide Arena, the first time we have seen the wave here. Hawks have it. Good play by Hines to help keep the puck in. Again, it's held in, but this time Klesla holds in only momentarily. Odeline for Rostislav Klesla. Bob Probert released from the penalty box. The Blackhawks are at full strength, but here comes Odeline right in front. It's gloved down by Kevin Dean up the middle to Probert. Look out, here's Probert. Walks into Amani, shoots, he scores! Tony Amani dekes Tugnut and makes it 5-3 Chicago.
And the tough man, Bob Probert, really made this play. Probert coming out of the penalty box, he had plenty of wind in him. He was well rested, and he showed it there. Good burst of energy coming up the ice, drawing the defender, then the perfect pass across to Amani. Gives the Chicago Blackhawks the 2-goal lead. Watch Probert, looks like he shot out of a cannon here. Waits, makes the pass over the stick of a sprawling defender to Tony Amani, and Amani with his 2nd goal of the night. Klesla trying to get back, dives. In good hands from Bob Probert. And the captain with his 2nd on the evening.
2 goals down with a little over 9 minutes to play. Kucherov moves it into the Chicago end. Anders Eriksson to pick it up. Throwing it right up the middle, but luckily onto the stick of Nylander. Ahead to Redo Van Arks. Over the line, here's Nylander for Sullivan, but broken up there by Kevin Dineen. Some diligent back checking.
Well, the Columbus Blue Jackets now have to start taking some chances. The defensemen have to get involved in the play. Normally you don't do that if it's tie or if you've got the lead, but right now down 2 goals with just about 8.5 minutes to go, they have to take some chances.
The Hawks still looking for more offense. Michael Nylander swoops in low, wearing number 92 up front with Sullivan and Van Arks. Here's Dean on the point, bothered by Deneen. Nylander's shot blocked in front as Columbus struggling to clear. The Blackhawks are changing. Jamie Pusher moving up, but Dean like a wall on that left point, keeping that puck in for the Hawks. Finally, Aubin kicking it to neutral territory. Under 8 minutes left. The Blue Jackets down by 2 here in the final period of regulation. It's Jamie Pusher ahead for Aubin. On to David Vaborny. Into enemy ice. Waits. His shot is blocked in front. Maybe a partial pass for Tyler Wright. Anyway, the Hawks moving the other way. Daze has his pass broken up by Tamander, and he fires it in.
I think Vaborny changed his mind at the last second. Some nice moves off the boards, gained some room in prime scoring real estate. Saw a white jersey at the last second. Instead of shooting, tried to dish it off.
Aggressive forechecking by the Blue Jackets. All 3 down low as Aubin along the near boards. Knocks it loose, but Bob Probert tries to clear it. Can't. Good keep in. Vaborny with Tyler Wright. Cycles it along the near wall. Now behind the goal for Wright. He's pinned up against the end boards. And a good play by Cantal to fish that puck free and clear it. But Terry Numelin hustling back to touch it. This will be an icing on Chicago. 6:49 to go in the 3rd period. Tony Amani has the Hawks up 5-3. Welcome back. 6:49 left in period number 3. The Blackhawks with a comfortable 2-goal lead.
See the scoring summary there. Columbus doing all their damage in that 1st period. Chicago staying with it, though, fighting back with 5 in the 2nd and 3rd.
Robert Cron, a draw against Jamnov. Jamnov kicks it loose for Amonte. Here comes Chicago. Zelapukin works his way over the Columbus blue line. Now in deep, pursued by Petteri Numelin. Zelapukin shifts free, back to Karpatsev. Numelin falling down. Can't clear it. Steve Malte, some good work along the boards, getting dirty. As finally, Numelin has some time and room. Chipped ahead by Malte, but the Hawks give it away to Cron. Walks over the line, slap shot, blocked by Karpatsev. And Chicago breaks the other way, 3-on-2 if they hurry. Amonte to Jamnov, back to Amonte. Odeline anticipates the pass and breaks it up.
A good defense there from a couple of players. First, the Blue Jackets protecting that blue line. Down the other end, Karpatsev, one of the best shot blockers in the league. Not a lot of people know that. 2 years ago was a +49.
There's Lyle Odeline lofting the puck into the vicinity of Jocelyn Thibault. He snags it. We'll take a break here in Columbus. Still 5-3 Blackhawks.
The Bud Light player of the game, Tony Amani, captain for the Chicago Blackhawks with his 2 goals. Remember this tying goal? This was the 3rd goal for the Blackhawks. Picks off the pass, puts it by Tugnut. And then just a few minutes ago, scoring that 5th goal for Chicago. 2 goals and an assist on the night for the captain, Tony Amani.
That has been the difference. Ryan Vandenbush for Chicago. Gives it away to Stevie Hines, and a blind feed at center right on the mark to Sanderson, but he loses to Mironov. Time of the essence for the Blue Jackets. Sanderson brings the puck across the red line and shoots it in. Hines on the forecheck to Numelin on the point. They're going to rule that the puck had just come outside of the line, so Petteri Numelin and Columbus, they're offsides.
Well, that's why the linesmen park themselves right on that blue line, and sometimes you'll see them get down on a knee. Numelin tried to keep it in, but the puck was bouncing, and it came back over the blue line. Watch if you can, right there. You see that white spot between the blue line and the puck? It had come clearly out over the blue line. He brought it back in. All his teammates were still in there. Put them all offside, and we have the draw just outside the blue line.
Petteri Numelin, a gem found by the Blue Jackets in the 5th round, 133rd overall. It's Doug McLean along with Peter Dineen, watched him last year, and they got some good advice from a former player of Doug's in Washington, Bent Gustafson. So far, he has looked excellent, especially in the preseason. The Blue Jackets dumping the puck in. Pintal. On for Nylander. He's over the checkered red line. Kuchera tying up Sullivan, tripping him down in the process, and that allows Columbus with some time and room to break to center. Kevin Dineen barrels in on the forecheck, smashing Pintal to the glass. Bruce Gardner, he scored the first goal of this hockey game in the franchise, to the right point. Pusher shot off his stick. Gardner in front. Dineen shoots, hits a body. Never saw Jocelyn Thibault, and Chicago clears it.
Well, that's the best pressure Columbus has had in the last 3 or 4 minutes. And again, a shot blocked out front by one of the Chicago Blackhawk defenders. That's probably the 5th or 6th time a defenseman has blocked a shot right in front of the net.
Columbus is changing. It's Karpatsev up with it. For Anders Eriksson ahead to Bobby Probert. Probert at the line, but that pass from Eriksson to Probert was made across 2 lines. That's a 2-line offside, which will move the face-off near the Hawk blue line.
Well, a couple of guys there who have normally made their mark in the NHL as tough guys, Lyle Odeline and Bob Probert, have both become pretty good players in their own right. Bob Probert, assisting on that last goal, was normally just known as a fighter early in his career, but he's really worked hard off the ice and worked on parts of his games that really needed it, mostly skating. And right now, we saw that burst of speed on that last goal, one of the quicker Blackhawks, and of course, Lyle Odeline take care of himself with his fist, but also now offensively one of the better point men that Columbus has.
Amazing to look at this Blackhawk roster littered with European players. That was something that was unheard of in past regimes. Here's Marha for the Hawks, hovering in the high slot, slap shot, caught the outside of the goal post. Daze, far corner for Probert, trying to move around Klesla. Klesla stays with him. And Stevie Malte throws it right up the middle, but luckily onto the stick of Vaborny. Slides it in softly. Karpatsev misplays it. It's loose in front. Luckily picked up by Marha, and he and the Hawks hightail it out of danger.
Well, it's one of those situations where you're thinking get back and defend, and unfortunately the puck laid right in the slot.
Here's a Monty trying to feed, jammed off the pass just too far out in front. Chicago unable to keep it in. It's Kevin Dean, as he and the Hawks are content to slow this game down for the final 3 minutes. Is it time for the Blue Jackets to start gambling, Steve?
Well, I think so. And I wouldn't be surprised either, even though they're down 2 goals, if maybe with about a minute and a half to go, that Dave King might pull goaltender Ron Tugnut.
Here's Robert Cron trying to step around Mironov. Not happening as he flips it out of play. Before, during, and after the game, head to the home of the real wing, BW3's Buffalo Wild Wings, with 10 Columbus locations, including Lancaster and Heath.
And from the Buffalo Wild Wings, Cam, that was that last chance. You see, Thibault came out to take a chance, missed the puck, and ended up back in front of the net. Thibault got fortunate there. You talked about the European influence on this team, Dan, and there's one, Alexei Zhamnov. I played there back in '92. That was just 8 years ago. There were no Europeans on the team. There is now currently 9.
As Thibault covers up on that quick shot off the face-off. The Hawks haven't won a Stanley Cup since way back in 1961, and they failed to make the playoffs the past couple of seasons.
Yeah, they have the dubious record right now of having gone the longest in the NHL without a Stanley Cup. It used to be the New York Rangers. They went 54 years between Stanley Cups. And now it's on the Chicago Blackhawks. It'll be 40 years this next Stanley Cup.
2:42 left. Aubin losing the draw as Amonte, a good play to come in on that face-off, knock it back to Kevin Dean, and he slides it to center. A stalwart back on the Hawk defense, Mironov. He's the #1 defenseman for Chicago, with Shalhoub on his tail, shakes him off. Here's the Hawks, Amonte. Turnaround shot. The puck was bouncing. He fanned on it. Gets it right back. Amonte losing to Jan Shalhoub. Here come the Blue Jackets. Shalhoub motors over the line to the trailer. Numelin shot off the knob of Thibault's stick high and wide.
Oh, and that had a chance too. Numelin on his off wing really stepped into that one high and just over the crossbar.
Great pass by Shalhoub to find Numelin there. Aubin can't clear. Jansen's shot from the point, blocked by Numelin. It's Jeff Sanderson, 1-on-3 as his teammates are changing. He's stopped. Back come the Blue Jackets. Tyler's right shot off the sprawl. Steve McCarthy right on the rebound, sends it right in front. Problem is all three Blue Jackets were behind the goal. Hawks can't clear it. Jansen's with under 90 seconds left in regulation. Pusher holds it in to Jeff Sanderson. There goes Tugnut to the bench. Sanderson's shot's blocked. And it's accidentally kicked out to center.
Well, that's too bad. He just happened to run into the path of Jamie Pusher, and that puck came back out over the blue line.
The sixth attacker is on for Columbus. Their net is empty. Right digs it loose. But Van Ark steals, can't move it out. Vaborny, a minute left. For Tyler Wright. Back to Vaborny. Some traffic in front of Thibault. Pusher's shot blocked. Once again, Vaborny. Pusher, one-timing Thibault. The save with Hines right on his doorstep. Good pressure by Columbus. Pusher. Other point, Kachera. Snapshot tipped wide. Here's Tyler Wright. Two Hawks on him. Guntal up the far boards. Good keep in by Kachera to Wright. Right in front to Hines. Just whipped on it. And the Hawks come to center.
Boy, those 5 Blackhawk players have been out there about a minute and a half. They were tired. They were standing around. Unfortunately, Columbus not able to get off a good shot.
12 seconds. The hometown crowd coming to their feet, making some noise. Adams. Losing to Karpatsev. This is a standing ovation. Despite the Blue Jackets falling 5-3. Check out the volume here in Nationwide.
Well, the good hockey fans here in the state of Ohio, and they're appreciative, you mentioned, of a good effort. Up 3-0 at one point. It looked like it was going to be a rout. Chicago got back into it, though. The fans still here very happy. Columbus not quite as happy with the outcome, losing to Chicago 5-3.
For the folks everywhere, Steve, this was a learning experience, but we take a look at the Pizza Hut play of the game.
And it was the first goal in franchise history for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Bruce Gardner, a goal he'll remember for the rest of his life.
So the Blue Jackets fall to the Blackhawks 5-3. They started off in a flurry, but the Hawks finish off fast. They defeat Columbus 5-3.
And now the save of the game brought to you by Ohio Health. Ron Tugnut under some pressure. You see him being acrobatic back there, getting some help from Lyle Odeline. He faced a number of good scoring opportunities, but he was rock solid. And those were your saves of the game.
So the Blue Jackets fall short tonight in their first ever game, but Steve Conroy, they're right back at it Monday night against the LA Kings.
Well, that's one great thing about hockey. You know, a tough defeat here tonight, but in a couple of nights they can redeem themselves and beat a very good team, the Los Angeles Kings.
Thanks to our producer and director, Mark Bark, and Mark Goldsmith, and our entire crew downstairs. Tonight was definitely a memorable evening. You're seeing Stevie Hines, one of his goals. Bruce Gardner, the first goal ever, but it ends up in a loss. The Blue Jackets fall to the